Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran, and I'm here with Andrew Velez, Joe Dells, and Mr. John Tortorelli, looking snazzy once again. Drew wearing his work fit with the Under Armour over, so you can't really tell he just got back completely pumping his pecs. Dells is here. Shout out to Dells.
Got my
Shout out to the
tee on.
Pacers.
Tough.
Chelsea, she got me this a while ago. You ever watch Tires on Netflix?
No.
Elite TV.
Elite TV is
Elite
right.
TV. Shane Gillis is like comedy.
What is it
show.
about?
It's just about guys working in a auto
Tire
body
shop.
shop.
That's it.
Like outside of Philly or some shit.
That's cool. I just finished watching Power.
Yeah.
Finished?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I said the same thing. He
So
ran through
now you understand what I was saying.
About Tariq?
Just wait. Because is it better than Snowfall, or are you still taking Snowfall?
Snowfall's better.
Okay.
I don't hate that
Okay.
take.
I
I'm
don't
not
hate
mad at
it.
it.
I haven't seen Snowfall, so
But it's
now
not bad
it's
take to say it.
intriguing. The last season of Power is nuts.
He was.
I complain about it. I have some complaints about
Wow.
it.
Okay.
Power is excellent. The reason why I'd give Snowfall the edge, I think the cinematography is better. You'll notice it in the video production, the camera quality, that's better. I think the stories, the cohesiveness of everything is also better. There's no loose ends, and for the most part, there isn't anything that's making you think, why did that character just do that? Everything had real logical reasoning behind the decisions that were being made, and the consequences were, horrific, as like any drug show is. With Power, some of the plots feel like had some loose ends. Whenever they needed to get out of something, it was just like, Angela, come save me, and something's happened there. The final season, the reason why I had complaints about it was because the final 4 to 5 episodes were the same episode in different perspectives. And I liked the fact that I got to see their day materialize. The Tommy episode was really good when she was hanging out with the little girl.
Yep.
Because, it showed somebody that was cold-hearted was able to be swayed by this sweet, innocent little girl that has been traumatized. So that was cool. But the other ones, I didn't need one on Tate. I didn't need one on Angela's sister. Like, those were cool, but to be honest, that could have all been compressed into 2 episodes instead of just dragging on, because you get to the final episode and you know who shot Ghost. You know that it was Tariq. So for me, the suspense, it wasn't there. I wasn't shocked by it. So that's why I feel like the final season kind of brought it down a little bit. And I also Tariq's character to me doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
It doesn't make sense. And that's what I thought brought the show down the most, is that every character makes sense, but Tariq's character is like getting into the drug game, got his sister killed, and he's like still blaming everything on Ghost when he's the one that got this family deeper involved into a mess. If he never killed Ray Ray, then they're valid. And I understand why he did it, because he obviously killed his sister, but him being and wanting to be a street dude got his sister killed. Like, so to me, he wasn't able to realize his own mistakes. And I agreed with Ghost at the end that Tariq should have paid for his consequences, because he wanted to make grown man decisions. He has to pay grown man consequences. Like, that's a fact. And Tariq he killed Ghost because Ghost didn't want to take the fall for him in murdering somebody, when Ghost would have without a doubt gotten life in jail. And Tariq, since he wasn't an adult, he might have not gotten life in jail, and he might have gotten a harsh penalty, but it wouldn't have been as harsh as Ghost. So, and I do agree that Ghost would have better equipped Tariq in trying to get out of there than the other way around, because he had real power and influence. Reek is just dumb as hell, and he gets his mom arrested. Ghost, he's just dumb as hell.
Ghost really did tell him, though, yo, you're taking the fall. Like, you're going in.
Nah, he definitely promised, and that's why Reek, he has some validity. But then when you think about it, it's like, man, he's done everything to try to get to this kid, and he still want to be a thug.
It's because Ghost is about to finesse life.
Mm-hmm.
He's about to be vice mayor, not mayor.
He was going to be the running mate to...
running mate,
yeah.
yes.
He gets into politics and shit. Do you have any interest in the spinoffs?
Raising Kanan, yeah. And somebody in the comments told me to watch it.
I didn't watch.
I'm gonna watch it next.
I only watched. I didn't even finish Tariq's story, Ghost. I watched up until the series finale. I think I just didn't watch the last episode.
Oh wow!
But it was pretty good. It did. I will say they did a good job leaving it off that way to have the spinoffs. They had one for Tommy. They had one for Tariq. They did the canon one. So they left it open ended enough that they were able to do these different things with the story. But I don't think it's a bad take, Snowfall being over it. I do think Snowfall is more mature. I do think it's I don't know how to describe it, but it does feel more polished than Power. I don't know if it because it came out after Power. But overall the story just feels more, maybe because it's based on a true story. It just feels more like well thought out and complex. But I don't know. They're both elite. Like when it comes to crime shows, those are my top two.
I will say this too. Power, you're seeing an already ascended main character in Ghost. You're seeing his downfall, but he's an already ascended character. You didn't see how he got to that point.
Maybe that's what
Snowfall,
you enjoyed the story,
exactly.
The build up.
You saw Franklin Saint go from somebody who had nothing to having $74 million in the bank.
That's probably what it is. Honestly.
You saw Uncle Jerome's progression in, basically just selling weed to then get into the coke game because his little nephew lured him into it, and you saw him regretting his decision in the later seasons of being that. And then you also saw like his wife, Uncle Louie, have character transformations. Just all the characters, even the main villain, Teddy. Like Teddy is a very complex villain, and even his story arc is amazing because you saw him go into it one way and you see how the characters progress. So that's why I think Snowfall, you more see the ascension and the downfalls of multiple characters, where in Power, you're only focusing on a few. Where Snowfall, bro, there's a lot of characters that really matter to the story. Franklin Saint, Uncle Louie, Aunt Louie, Uncle Jerome, Leon, Wanda as well, like his mom, his pops, like Teddy, everybody, bro. Like they just have so many more characters and much more depth in the stories. That's what makes it better.
You pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition of GTA.
You like that shit? I moved you?
That you moved the fuck out of me. I haven't even pre-ordered it.
Bro,
Really?
did you know that there's people pre-ordering GTA in hopes that it's going to be inflated once it launches and they resell it for a bigger price?
I watched somebody spend 50 G's on however many copies.
It's a digital. It's digital.
Really one of the slower-minded things I've seen.
It's actually impossible for it to be like. There's
It
nothing
makes
to
no
sell out of.
sense. It makes no sense
It
unless
was
you're
really
getting a
bad.
physical copy that's limited edition. Maybe you could flip that, but how are you going to flip something digital? They could make unlimited amount of that.
You want to know what's sneaky?
I don't know.
Apparently, if you pre-order it early, I believe the GTA Plus that you get for a month free starts at the time that you pre-order it.
I think you have to like redeem it.
Okay, that's
I think
good
you
to
have
know.
redeem it. Yeah, I don't think it starts automatically.
Yo, GTA, bro.
I
they
think it
blessed the
does
community.
because they're saying that you have to cancel the
Yeah.
auto renew.
Yeah. That is sneaky of them for sure.
You know what I mean? What are you saying?
They really bless the community. I've been playing GTA more recently. Every time I log in every other week, they give me like $500,000.
Oh, GTA Online.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
already bought a crib. I got a crib on the hills.
Yeah, the inflation in that game is nuts.
Yeah, bro. All I
Everything's
do,
like millions of dollars.
I go online. I go to a stash house. I rob their stash, and then I just get 3-4 stars.
Well,
I get away from the
The
cops.
biggest question now is if you see like when you download it, it just says like single player game. So now people are trying to figure out what the online is going to look like. Like, are they just going to update the GT Online, and they're just going to come out with like a whole
Or we're gonna have to pay for it.
Are we going to have to pay for it? Is it going to be fucking $10?
I did just
Gonna be
throw
free?
100 beans on the.
Yeah.
So you
But
might
you
have
would
thrown
think-
100 on the single player.
You would think that if they were going to do that, it would come with the Ultimate Edition. You know what I mean? Like, why would they would just include it in a more expensive version of the base game if that was the case?
They would have that. I don't think they're gonna try to hula hoop your way
I don't
through
think
it. I
so.
think GTA is just very simple, and it's a lot to do. So I'm interested to see how it's gonna look. I'm definitely streaming it. I'm building my setup now. I'm gonna invest into a computer to try to stream it there. It's a lot of things, bro.
Digital only.
Yeah. Well, they said they're going to release physical discs in December, I think. But they don't want to do it because then people could steal a fucking disc and get it early and shit. So it's all digital. So you have to start at whatever midnight.
Day the game's ready.
Yeah.
I feel like that day is gonna be impossible to play.
I mean, not well. You could download it a week ahead.
Oh, okay, nice.
So definitely download. Yeah. Who knows, man? It's gonna be nuts.
What's the official release date?
November 19th.
Almost there. 5 months.
Damn, bro, that's crazy. That's my cousin's brother's sister birthday.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, John, I feel we're spoiled. We got you 2 times this week.
Yeah.
Look at
It's
us,
nice.
man. How
Blessed to
was
be
that
here.
your week?
It was good. A very nice Friday. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very excited to be here. Yep.
We love that, man.
That's it. Now it's Saturday, Sunday. Get to enjoy a vibe. No work.
How long is the internship?
8 weeks.
So you're done.
August 21st.
Oh, so it's the whole summer. Facts. You just started. Yeah. Okay.
Shout out to John, man.
And then
I'm excited to
when,
have you on.
When school starts, do you get any break?
August 20 something.
So you don't really got any type of break.
It's all good. Yeah.
Are you making bread at this internship? All right, nice. Hell yeah.
We love that.
Yo, you remind me of a white OG Anunoby.
Kind of look like OG Anunoby.
I can see it.
Oh, John.
Nice.
You know,
Oh,
you're the
man.
first person I thought of when the Lamelo Ball trade happened. Because you were very critical of him, and now he's in a situation where I feel like he can maximize his strengths while hiding his weaknesses. Are you low or high on it? Because we have to talk about the Timberwolves' perspective first, and then we'll talk about the Hornets. LaMelo Ball gets traded to Minnesota for Naz Reid, an unprotected first, 3 swaps that might not even materialize, but 3 swaps nonetheless, and then some second-round picks. For Minnesota, feels like this is a dream scenario. Even when you had Cat, the biggest thing the team was missing was playmaking. It was another ball handler next to Anthony Edwards. And now you turned a Randall salary dump and traded Naz Reid in a first. Naz Reid, I love him. He's a role player. He's not a star. And you trade him for a legit star, LaMelo Ball, who is 24 years old. Ant and him now make the best under 25-year-old tandem in the NBA. And you get Ant a long-term point guard for the future. Even taking into account the erratic play style at moments, even taking into account his reckless driving, even taking into account all of the things that people may nitpick about LaMelo Ball. He produces one of the highest, most potent, efficient offenses when he's on the floor. This past season, he was responsible for the 4th best half-court offense since 2004. LaMelo Ball has a chance to raise the ceiling of this team, where over the last 3 seasons, they have on average been 12th in offensive rating. He has the potential to make this one of the best offenses in the NBA, one of the best young duos in the NBA, and changing the narrative on his career completely. And Minnesota is the perfect spot for that. This not only raises the team ceiling in wanting to win a championship, but it also raises Anthony Edwards' ceiling in becoming the best possible player he could become.
Yeah, the roads in Charlotte definitely got safer. That may be the only positive for Charlotte, in my opinion. I think it's malpractice that you finally have and accomplish your goal when you first drafted LaMelo, when you first drafted Brandon Miller. In year 1 of Concanipple and everybody finally being healthy, you have a little bit less than halfway season turnaround, and you are one of the most efficient offenses in basketball. You're really starting to see everybody start to find a role and thrive in their roles, all of it being led and initiated by LaMelo Ball's elite playmaking. Not the most efficient scorer, but one of the best playmakers we have in the game. And the way that he's able to set the table for the rest of his teammates and get them in their spots and them be as efficient as they are putting the ball in the basket. For you to fall off of that, the off season after you have your most successful season in years. I think the last time they were this successful was the last time that LaMelo Ball was healthy, when they made the play-in a few years back. LaMelo Ball, if you want to say they sold high because the injury history has been such a concern from them, that is maybe the only thing that can allow you to rationalize this concept from Charlotte. Minnesota has been dying for a point guard since Mike Conley's legs started to give out, age started to catch up. We were looking for that heir to Mike Conley. Who's going to be that point guard to play alongside Anthony Edwards? Who better than LaMelo Ball? LaMelo Ball, he thrives on getting people into their spots. Anthony Edwards, a guy that can play off the ball, does not need the basketball to be successful. One of the best catch and shoot players in the game as well. He's going to fit like a glove with Lamelo Ball. And it's obvious, this is Anthony Edwards' team. This is the best offensive player on the team. But now you have a legit guy that can initiate. We get out and run. We're in transition. We can be this athletic duo that we know that we can be. The fact that you get the number 1 overall pick and the 3rd pick on the same team, these two can grow together. The only limitation or the only hesitation you have is health. Can LaMelo stay on the court? Anthony Edwards now with this new knee injury, is he going to be available? I think that we're talking about a gamer in Anthony Edwards. I think that he'll be all right. LaMelo Ball, he has shown when he is on the court, he is a hyper efficient playmaker. And you put that alongside one of the best flamethrowers in basketball. I'm excited. This is going to be amazingly, it's super fun to watch. And Joel, I'm excited for this to be our fandom.
You guys come together right here.
We finally are locked in on a fandom, and there's no wavering.
Yeah,
there's
no getting out of it.
Because
my
I'm
opportunity.
a LaMelo Ball stan. Through it all, I'm here. Anthony Edwards, I've always shown love. That's your boy.
And here's the thing, and that's a beautiful thing about tandems, is that sometimes that one guy needs to be the one to tell the other guy, this is your moment to straighten up. And I'm not going to act like LaMelo's not going to contribute to this duo because he most certainly is.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Edwards, just this season, was 3rd in percentage on catch and shoot jump shots at 71%.
He's a demon.
Anthony Edwards is an elite off-ball player that hasn't been able to play off the ball because nobody else on Minnesota can handle and initiate. Now that LaMelo is there, this is the most potent three-point shooting backcourt, three-point shooting tandem in the NBA. Both are capable of attempting 10 threes on any given night. We're talking about 20 threes a game coming from 2 players. LaMelo Ball, last season, he was first in assist points created at 30.5. LaMelo Ball was number 1 and towards the top of the league in rim assists and also in 3-point attempts, assists on those as well. This is going to be a match made in heaven, and I think there's no better fit. And I'm happy, and I'm looking forward to seeing LaMelo Ball's growth in Minnesota. If there was a situation that I think that he can turn around, it is Minnesota. It is a winning culture that's going to instill those defensive habits and effort onto you. And LaMelo, he doesn't have the same limitations of these smaller guards. He's 6'7" with a really good wingspan. If he locks in on a team defense infrastructure, LaMelo Ball can be disruptive in the passing lanes. He could buy in and be more of a defender. I think he's going to turn the narrative on his career completely around in Minnesota, and I'm looking forward to it.
This was a move that Minnesota had to make in the sense that before making this trade, you were not good enough in the Western Conference. Between Oklahoma City and San Antonio, they were a clear line below those two teams. And the 3 things for me which stand out the most in this move is first and foremost, LaMelo Ball. You're getting paired alongside the exact physical wing talent and front court players that can isolate and kind of insulate him on the defensive end. We've seen over the last couple of years, the biggest weaknesses for LaMelo Ball on the court, beyond the durability, is the fact that defensively he does not play anywhere near his size. And that lack of physicality has left Charlotte vulnerable at times. But when you pair him alongside Jaden and Rudy Gobert, it changes the profile and the culture that he's into, where the hope is that Chris Finch can get more out of him on the defensive end. And that would be one of the biggest wins, because for Minnesota, this takes their offense to the next level. When you add in an offensive engine like LaMelo Ball, and you pretty much put me on last episode highlighting the on-off numbers when LaMelo was on with Khan and Brandon Miller compared to when they were off the floor. And it's clear that even when you don't have that high-level talent next to him, LaMelo Ball can generate high-level to elite offenses. That's huge in the sense that Anthony Edwards now does not have to not only run the offense and be a primary wing defender, but he could actually focus more on the defensive end. And one thing Riv's talked about is that he hadn't as much effort, as much energy to kind of provide on that end of the floor. He's conservative at times. And then also, of course, too, you get to have someone when Ant's off the floor as well. I believe there are 2 guard lineups that I would assume could add a second layer to this team, and it allows guys like Jaden McDaniels to fall into a more third role or 4th kind of offensive option rather than being the second piece. So for Minnesota, it was a risky move because there is a lot of concern that LaMelo's not going to be on the floor. 3 years ago, played 36 games. There's 22 and 47 before this season. There's going to be some seasons where he's not available, and their floor is going to be very low. But when you have a healthy LaMelo Ball with Anthony Edwards on the same exact timeline, it not only gives Anthony Edwards a clear vision of what this team can become, but it gives them a higher floor. And I believe in a Western Conference that continues to get better and better, this was a move I would have done.
It's risky, but I think, John, you just said it. It's probably a risk you have to take, because when you trade all the assets you did, and although it wasn't valuable, the only tradable pick you have now is like a top 50 protected pick in 2030. All of your draft picks are gone. You've been traded for the Rudy Goberts, for Randalls, for now
Rob Dillingham,
LaMelo
don't
Ball,
forget.
Rob Dillingham. All of your picks are done. You're at the second apron as well. This team that you got right now is going to be your team, right? So it's risky, because if this doesn't work, if LaMelo does, get injured, we're not hoping for it, but based on his career, if he does, revert to some of the things we've seen multiple years prior, where turnovers are up, efficiency's down, because this year he kind of put it all together. Not only was he healthy and leading a good offense, but the turnovers were down and the efficiency jumped back to, a couple years prior to that. So he was able to put it all together this season. And while I don't think Charlotte traded or sold high on him, I do think what his value was a year ago versus what it was today, it is a pretty decent haul. A year ago, when we were talking about LaMelo coming off that type of season, I don't think you were saying you were going to be able to get a first-round pick, multiple pick swaps, plus a player like Naz Reid for him. And it's a bit of indictment, I think, on LaMelo. Maybe that fuels him. But Charlotte was looking at you like, at least I hope they think this, we've been an organization that hasn't been able to figure it out. All of a sudden, it looks like we're figuring it out. We get to the play-in. We have a great playing game, great 2026. We still don't think you're the guy. Even you did all of this and stayed healthy, and we were the number one offense in basketball for half the year. We still don't think you're that guy. For whatever reasons, on the court, off the court, injuries aside, it does feel like if you're LaMelo, you have to take that a little bit personally, because you were drafted there. You were, really the foundation of what this team has become now. And it felt like before that, this was the up-and-coming team in the Eastern Conference that going into next year could be a top 6 seed. If they're healthy, why can't they be the breakout team with Khan and Brandon Miller and, of course, LaMelo Ball? So it's definitely a bit of a punch in the gut. Minnesota, I think the fit offensively works for sure. I think and LaMelo, we saw LaMelo, with Brandon Miller and Khan. It's not like he's out there stealing all of the shots. Like, Brandon Miller averaged 20. Khan Knippel averaged 19, 20 points. He was able to get everyone else involved while still putting up 20 by himself. Ant's going to be able, like you mentioned, Joel, catch and shoot, getting downhill. They're going to be great in transition together. The offensive fit's beautiful. Defensively, could be a little scary. Anthony Edwards, as we've talked a lot on the show, really good on-ball defender. Off-ball could get lost sometimes. LaMelo Ball, not really a great defender. So you are putting yourself in a situation where, is it the perfect fit ever? No. But when you're looking up at the Western Conference and you see the Spurs and you see OKC, you have to figure out some sort of pivot to make, because it would have been nuts to just bring back Julius and just run this back and think that something different was going to change, although you were injured last year. So I don't mind the pivot. I don't mind going for a guy that, when he's healthy, can be a real game changer for you and your offense. So Minnesota did a really good job. And Charlotte has some questions to answer, because I feel like this was a team that was really building something. And now you have players in Brandon Miller and Khan that obviously we all love, but who's the table setter? Who's getting these guys involved? Are they going to be forced to put on a bigger offensive burden than you saw last year? I feel like just a lot of pressure put on a couple of young guys who, Brandon Miller, first real full season healthy, and then Khan's first year. It's a lot to ask for.
The good news is that the Wolves won't be able to afford a player like Rui Hachimura, because I feel like the size that we're going to see that starting five play with, whoever that fifth player added to that lineup, who's going to be playing the power forward, maybe it's Jaden. Maybe Jaden moves from that 3 to the 4, but you have 6'7" LaMelo Ball, 6'4", if I'm not mistaken, Anthony Edwards, 6'9", McDaniels, and 7-foot Rudy Gobert. This team is a team that's going to need to play with size, especially when you're looking at the Spurs, who are going to play with size. You look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's a team with a bunch of size. Size matters, especially when you are an athletic team. When you are a team like the Minnesota Timberwolves that provide such an issue because of how big your players are, and on top of it, how athletic they are. I had to correct you like that. I maneuvered around it.
Yeah,
I maneuvered around it.
You're
Nevertheless, the speed at which this team can play with, given certain lineups, maybe with Rudy you play a little slower, but still you can get on in transition with the three of LaMelo Ball, Jaden McDaniels, and Anthony Edwards. And we're talking a lot about Anthony Edwards and how he's going to benefit off of LaMelo Ball. How about Jaden McDaniels, who also took huge strides in his game offensively too? The better looks that he's going to benefit from as well. I think that's another player that we haven't talked about that needs that acknowledgement. But I'm interested. Who's going to play that for Minnesota? Because if they just go all in on that 3-and-D guy, not saying that Rui Hachimura is this excellent defender, far from, but you bring another 3-point shooter onto this team with a player in Rudy Gobert who's limited in that regard. That's still 4 players, and now Rudy Gobert can really shine in his role and understand, all right, I know what I'm here to do. I'm here to be a screen setter. I'm here to roll. I'm here to catch lobs as well as I can, and I'm here to be one of the best defenders in the game still. It's going to be interesting to see how they start to piece the rest of their roster around each other. But Minnesota's going to be fun. I just can't help but get mad at Charlotte. I'm happy as somebody who supports LaMelo Ball that I don't have to root for Charlotte anymore, because that's an organization that has done nothing but fail. And you could argue, John, the way that you have in the past about how LaMelo has been one of the reasons for their shortcomings. But the obvious truth is when he is healthy, this is a better squad. And the fact that the first chance you get to move off of him while his value's back up, you decide to pull the trigger on it. You say risky for Minnesota. I say this move is essential. You needed a point guard. There was no other point guard of this value for essentially a first-round pick in Naz Reid. That's how I see it. You traded 2 first-round picks for a guy who may not even crack your rotation this year, and Rob Dillingham. He's not even on the team anymore. He's not even on the team, and you gave up 2 first-round picks for him. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's just such an easy move when I think about Minnesota. But for Charlotte, I just can't help but feel like if I'm a Charlotte fan, I'm getting robbed. I'm getting cheated. I finally was able to believe, and you just took away my one belief. Because now, who's going to be my point guard? Kobe White? Are we going to trade for John Morant?
Christian Anderson.
Kobe White's not a bad player.
But not a playmaker, not a table setter. That was the main reason why this offense was as efficient as it was.
He was one of the main reasons why they won their first playing game, too.
Okay, yes, but that is one game over a course of a season.
And in the lineup data, when he's on the floor and LaMelo's off, they still have great offensive rating. And
is it as great as LaMelo's?
No, but the reason why the Hornets made the pivot is very simple. We don't feel LaMelo could be the best player on a championship team, which is a valid concern. He's going to Minnesota in a situation where he's not asked to be that. He's asked to be the complement, not the main guy. In Charlotte, the team was built around him. A year from now, they have to make the decision of whether or not they're going to give him a supermax. And that, we all know, when you're under a lot of pressure to negotiate a contract, your relationship with the star can dissipate really quickly. So they probably didn't want to handle that. And with the injury history, they felt, let's move LaMelo Ball for a productive player in Naz Reid, a first-round pick, and a bunch of pick swaps. Kobe White, let's sign him to a year where he's making $23 million annually, which is half of what LaMelo's making annually. And we're banking on the fact that Kobe White won't be LaMelo Ball, but he can provide most of the box score production for half of the price. And the team is clearly pivoting in the direction of, we're building this team around Concanepple. The style, the dynamic of play style they want to play with, they will still be able to have. Kobe White heaves up threes too. He was a flamethrower in Chicago. He averaged 20 points per game, I think, his last starting season there. Brandon Miller, flamethrower from 3. Same with Concanepple. They just brought in Naz Reid, who's another fantastic shooter.
Flamethrower as in they'll put him up?
Exactly.
Or flamethrower as they'll make him?
They'll put him up, but Canepple's a flamethrower in both.
Agreed.
And so is Kobe White. He shoots 39% from 3. So it's not like he doesn't make his at a high clip. He does. And then the way you drafted, bringing in Christian Anderson, who his entire game is predicated on heaving up threes and playmaking at a high level. And Hannes Steinbach, the shot isn't developed yet, but you see he's a rebounder, and he's going to fit the mold of more of like a Diabate, where Diabate and Steinbach are going to be the primary rebounders to get those misses off those 3-point shots. This is still going to be a team that plays with the philosophy of a high variance 3-point shooting team that likes to get out into transition. And now we're going to see Concanepple with more reps. And Concanepple, the lineup data with LaMelo Ball when he's off, the offensive rating doesn't look the best. But when he is with Kobe White, Brandon Miller, and it's him, their offensive rating is still elite. And now we're getting more on-ball reps with Kneppel. So this is really about banking on him and wanting to build a team around him. And we'll see how far it takes them. They have the second most draft picks, first-round picks of any team right now. And in this current state of the NBA with the new lottery rules shifting, those teams that finish within the 12th to 10th range, that's going to be the most valuable draft asset. So they're banking on a bunch of treasure chests of assets because they felt like with LaMelo Ball, as great of a player as he is, their ceiling with LaMelo, paying him Supermax eventually, Brandon Miller getting a max contract, their ceiling was a first or second round exit playoff team. They were not going to build a true contender around him. And that is why I feel they made this move. Not saying I agree with it, but that is their thought process behind it, is where our ceiling is limited. Let's stack up on more assets, get younger, and throw out cost-effective contracts, and let's try to see if we can land one of those players that can be that guy for us.
It's valid. And I also want to add into the fact that they created the largest trade exception in NBA history, a $40 million exception in this move as well by adding in Josh Green in Minnesota. I don't believe the Hornets got enough value for LaMelo Ball, but for their front office, when you start to see it from their point of view that they didn't draft LaMelo, and like you highlighted, they were not comfortable giving him that extension given his durability concerns as someone who didn't play 50 games the last 3 seasons before this. And then I think the other important part of this too is that they didn't see the vision with, we talked about this in the last episode, we got a little bit of a debate about this, a defensive foundation of LaMelo and Khan with Brandon Miller. So I would argue that while the Hornets didn't get enough value in this trade, that they can effectively pivot with the players they've added into the draft. Christian Anderson's not only one of the best passers in this draft, but a flamethrower from beyond the arc. And Kobe White's an underrated player. So in their backcourt, they still have a lot of depth, along with Colin Kneppel. And you look at the wing talent they have a lot at the forward position. And I do feel like this Charlotte roster can still be very competitive next year. And I understand the further away we get from this and the more the dust settles, that this trade can age better for the Hornets, especially when you look at the value of pick swaps increasing with the new lottery reform. So it's going to be very interesting to monitor how well this ages and whether or not it was the right decision for Charlotte.
They're betting against LaMelo. And if LaMelo doesn't stay healthy and isn't durable for Minnesota, it's going to age well for Charlotte. It's hard to bet against a talent like that. And that is why I will just throw this out there that there are some all-time point guards in NBA history that rank amongst the greats that were not successful in their first situation. They were not their peak versions of themselves. Jason Kidd going from Phoenix to the Nets. He peaked with the Nets at 28 years old when he got there. Steve Nash went from Phoenix to Dallas to then Phoenix again, and he was great in Dallas, but he peaked in Phoenix, his third team now, his third location that he went to, and he peaked at 30 years old. Chauncey Billups was on 4 to 5 teams before he got to Detroit in 2002, and then he became a Finals MVP in 2004. Players, and especially guards, it's a very volatile position. I think it's the hardest transition to the NBA of any position. Those guys, most of them, at least we have seen throughout NBA history, we have some elite ones, 2 in the top 10 all time, that didn't peak in their first situation. So the question is whether or not LaMelo Ball is going to follow the trend and peak in this Minnesota situation, or he's going to follow the line of other very talented point guards that have gotten shipped off and they were never able to recreate that magic. I think LaMelo Ball is talented enough to totally recreate himself, though. So that's why I think it's risky that Charlotte did this, because I think LaMelo is a hell of a player. But that's Charlotte's perspective of why they did it, and we'll see if they're right. Because I do also agree with the fact that LaMelo, he can't be the true number one because of the defense, because of the habits, because of the health concerns.
Would you say that LaMelo on the Hornets, though, had the best chance to be a one out of those 3 players, him, Con, and Brandon Miller?
Yes.
That's why it's risky, because not that Con or Brandon Miller are replaceable, but it's just going to be harder to find someone that can be your offensive engine, and when everything's right and you have peace around him, lead a top offense. So you put yourself in a weird situation if you're Charlotte, because we're talking about Kobe White, talking about Christian Anderson, 2 guys that do some of the stuff LaMelo does, but just nowhere near the, top tier level near all NBA level that we saw from this past season. So while you do give yourself some flexibility for the future, you got some draft capital, you're going to let some of your younger players develop even more now. You're also just on a search to kind of, you made a hole and you're trying to replace it. And you're searching for it. Like, you just create a hole for yourself. You need this number one option. You need someone that you feel comfortable can be your number one long term, where Con and Brandon Miller probably work off them more. It's just a bad position to be in because those don't come around very easily.
It's a bad position to just be in a place where you don't have a player on your roster that you know could be the best player on the championship team.
Yeah, but if you're Charlotte, and I understand, big picture, win a championship. Charlotte has been so bad for so long. Is there any value in just trying to get some sort of stability and be like, yo, can we be a top 6 seed for 2 years?
That wasn't going to happen, though. This upcoming season, unless the Hornets made a trade in which they lessened the amount of assets that they had, if they went into next season with the same roster they currently got, that's not a top 6 playoff team in the Eastern Conference.
No, if they added to it.
But then you're talking about them giving up assets, and who's a player they could go out there and actually realistically get that would take them over the top to be a team that could be a top 6 playoff
Sabonis?
team. Oh, man. Give me a break.
I named you a center.
He's trash on defense.
I'm trying to think.
They might have been worse.
I mean, he's an elite rebounder. They needed size down low.
I just think
They got
Sabonis
Musa.
with them, it's a clear
Diop
playing
together.
team still. Like, I'm looking at the East landscape right now. You figure Miami is going to be better just because they got Giannis and Bam off that alone. Detroit still, New York still. If the Cavaliers stay, them still. A healthy Philly, probably. And then we're also looking
Indiana
at
and Boston.
Indiana, Boston. I mean, even the Hornets keeping LaMelo this upcoming season, we would have came into this room and we've say, you know what, I think there'll be another fun 9-seed team.
So what is it going to be again this year?
So now they'll maybe be a little bit worse and have a chance to draft a player in the
Just be the
top
Hornets
10.
still?
The alternative is being mid, and we hate
They've
teams for being mid.
They've been mid.
No, they've been trash.
They were mid last year, but ended on fire
best
where you
offense
can
in
go
basketball.
into the next season, going into next year saying, we feel good about this team. If I feel like we probably would have had him, bring me like an 8 seed. An 8 seed can't be a 6 seed. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
Cleveland can't fall off.
What do
There's
you
a
mean?
gap.
Philly
No.
can't fall off.
There's 6 teams that are clearly better than the Hornets if they kept LaMelo in the East.
The
That's
Detroit
if all
Pistons
6
were just the
teams-
first seed in the East.
Everything goes right
The
for them,
Pistons
too.
clear the Hornets.
Okay, that's not the point. The point was people were thinking that the Pistons were going to be around a 5th, 6th seed, and they were the first seed. There's variance in what Dells is saying.
That's a difference. They thought that the Pistons would be a locked-in playoff team. We'd go into next season projecting the Hornets as a play-in. We would have projected them as a
8th
top 6
seed
lock.
is playing, yes, but again, I understand what Dells is saying.
There's a
But,
gap between a
Joel,
play-in and a top 6
If
team
you
that's locked.
also, if you're a Hornets fan, whatever, front office, whatever it might be, and you saw the way your team played the second half of last season, should you not try to run this for a year? Like, we just had the number 1 offense in basketball for 4 months.
If I'm a year away from giving LaMelo a supermax where he's going to demand probably $60 to $70 million per year, no, I'd probably think about it a little bit.
Can you not run it this year and then trade him in the offseason?
It leaves a sour taste
And what if
in
he
your
has
mouth
another
with
injury
how
riddled
well
season?
he ended the season.
It sucks.
Which
But if
has been
you
the case
gave
for
him that
75% of his
The
career.
thing that's bothering me about this is you believe in LaMelo. So why are you arguing it for the Hornets?
Because this is their thought process, and I think
So
it's
what
logical.
about it? Their thought process.
It's
so you
logical.
believe it. You're good with it.
Yeah, them trading LaMelo
Smart.
was logical.
But it was
logical
smart.
for their
Good
end.
move.
For them and what they want to do, yes.
So good move.
They want to long
Joel
term.
Moran believes it was a good move.
Long term, they want to compete at a higher level. At least that's the assumption that I'm getting from this. They want to stockpile draft picks. They were not going to be comfortable rolling out this team next year because they weren't going to be a locked-in playoff team. There are 6 definitive teams in the East that would have been better than them. New York, Indiana, Boston, Miami with Giannis and Bam. Then we're getting to Cleveland if they bring the band back together. That's already 5 in the Eastern Conference, and I think Atlanta also got better. That's 6 right there in the Eastern Conference. You're looking at another year of the Hornets being a team that would have been fun, but they would have been a playing team, and that's if LaMelo plays 70
trading
games.
your good players doesn't always mean it's going to benefit you in the future. It doesn't
Sometimes
mean
it
that.
does.
There's no world they could be better than Atlanta or Cleveland. Like, there's no chance. No world.
There's a world.
No fucking
Cleveland
world.
with Harden,
definitely a
Mitchell,
world.
Evan Mobley,
Yes,
and
thank
Jared
you,
Allen.
John.
There's a world.
There's a world.
Not over Cleveland.
The best
No.
offense in basketball can't get you a top 6 seed.
The best offense in basketball in the 2 playing games that we saw, for the most part, looked a little stifled and limited against real not even playoff defenses, but just a step below that. Because with their variance, with the lack of paint and half-court drives that their players had at their disposal, that was an offense that was going to very easily get capped off when they played higher-level competition. I'm not saying the Charlotte Hornets season wasn't fun. It was awesome. And I wouldn't have traded Lamelo Ball. But draft capital is the most important asset in basketball right now if you're not a competitive team.
The Nets traded Harden, KD, Kyrie, and are the worst team in basketball. Just because you trade your good players doesn't mean that you can recover, especially when you're a bad franchise.
Well,
The Charlotte
recover.
Hornets
And it's two
have
different
not
situations.
proven to be a good franchise. Who am I to trust that this move is going to prove beneficial because of the future draft assets that they received?
It's
Is that
fair?
fair?
It's completely fair. There's no guarantee.
But this isn't the same situation as the Nets.
Yeah.
The Nets, when they traded Harden for Ben Simmons, who was out the league a year and a half later. He couldn't play. They traded Kyrie Irving at his lowest possible value because of anti-Semitism and some other stuff that was going on. And he got traded for Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith. Kevin Durant was the only guy that went for value. And the blue chip piece in that trade was Mikal Bridges, who they traded for 5 first-round picks before the Knicks won the championship. You thought was a dumbass mistake by the Knicks to trade
And
for
who
him.
they draft for? No, listen, it was a bad trade because they could have got Giannis. They won the championship, so it's fine. However, they did nothing with those draft picks.
So far, got 3 more to go. Listen,
The draft picks aren't over, and the Nets, last draft I didn't like. Mikal Brown Jr., I'm a big fan of that
course.
pick because I think he has the highest ceiling of any point guard in this draft.
You thought they drafted Acuff. I'm fine with them drafting Mikal Brown. But again, it's just the Nets doing the irregular thinking thing on draft night.
yeah.
But the thing is that not every trade, when you trade a star, ends up poorly. The Nuggets traded Melo, and that's how they kickstarted the franchise and drafted Jamal Murray. And then, they lucked into Jokic. You can't predict that. But they drafted Jamal Murray with one of those Knicks first-round picks. So sometimes you can trade a star, and you can be better off. And the reason why the Nets aren't in the same situation is because if you look at those rosters comparatively to after they traded Kevin Durant, because he's the final of the big three that left, to the Hornets roster now, one is clearly better. This Hornets roster features a lot of good
That
players.
Nets team made the playoffs.
We should focus
That-
on Charlotte. I
Because
feel like the
they
risk,
had half a season left, and Kevin Durant had them at a winning record.
Mikal Bridges averaged 28.
They made the playoffs in the year that Kevin Durant got traded, but the year after they were ass.
They were.
And it's because of the head start of Kevin Durant being on the team. That
And
is why
Mikal
they
Bridges
were.
averaging
Yeah,
28.
Mikal Bridges obviously out of body experience, but the fact that you had KD for half the year is a big reason they were just able to sneak into the playoffs. But the next year they were ass, and it was because the team was bad. This Hornets team isn't bad. And we criticize a team like the Bulls for being mid for mad long and never moving off of players that we know can't be the number one on the championship team. The Hornets, listen, I agree. It might have been too early to do it, but this is them thinking forward. And I'm not going to
Don't compare them to the
penalize somebody
Bulls.
for thinking forward.
LaMelo Khan, Brandon Miller, don't compare them to this Bulls team
At some
we got
point,
right
you
now.
were singing Zach LaVine's praises too.
I don't know if I was
Was it
ever
that
singing
long
What kind of
ago?
argument are you
praises.
trying to make by throwing it up like we gassed up Zach LaVine,
Even
DeMar
still, these guys were
DeRozan?
younger than that Bulls
You're
team.
misevaluating the argument.
These
The
are
No,
argument,
but he's
24 and
talking
younger.
about a 24, exactly,
Yeah,
a
the whole
24
team
and
is
under
super
trio.
young.
the argument is that we penalized the Bulls for a long time for sticking to mediocrity
They
when
did,
there's no clear
but I
pathway
don't
to
think the
contention.
mediocrity is
No,
equal.
It's
with the
not
Bulls and the
equal.
Hornets.
You
These are, I
finally
think,
had
two
everybody
different
healthy,
situations.
and you were the best offense in basketball.
And they were betting against having everybody healthy once again because for 75% of LaMelo's career in Charlotte, he has not been healthy.
Again, you are arguing for it. Like
listen,
you think it was a good idea.
If you think
It's
that's
the same-
if
it's
the
the
health
same
thing,
way.
I can't say nothing. You can't predict it. But if you want to get out the Melo sweepstakes,
But that's what
or the
I
Melo
think
shit because of the injuries,
It's bothering me. It genuinely
just-
is
I don't
that
know.
you're arguing for it.
Shout to
Like you
Nas
think
Reed.
it's a
Shout-
good move
shout to
when
New
you
Jersey, though.
don't.
I'm arguing for the thought process behind it. I can see the thought process behind it. Absolutely, I can.
Who cares
who am
if
I-
you don't care? If you don't think it's a good one.
Who am I to say that this is not going to age well for them?
But
3
why
years
does
from
it
now?
matter
I don't
if you
know.
don't think it's a good move?
Because this is the thought process. In a trade, here's how a trade is supposed to.
Are you saying it
this
could work out?
This is what happens in a trade, right? In a trade,
Could work?
In a trade, I want something from you because
I'm getting that.
in a
man.
trade, we trade because
Yeah.
we're both looking for the best outcome for
Yeah,
our
yeah,
teams
we're trying
possible.
to both improve.
For Minnesota, it was clear. that they made this move because they thought LaMelo could raise the ceiling of their team. Not wrong. People can have counter arguments and say, well, we don't think he'll be healthy enough.
Sure.
We don't think his game is structured enough. It's too volatile to survive in playoff basketball. So some people would say that trade for Minnesota, exhausting every single asset available they have to them, that was a mistake because a player has been unreliable health-wise for a majority of his career. But the thought process behind Minnesota is sound. You want to compete at a high level, and LaMelo gives you a chance to do that. For the Hornets, they clearly, by trading LaMelo, said, we don't want to just compete for the 7th or 8th seed and maybe be the 6th seed in the East. We don't want to do that. We're thinking long term. We want to stockpile assets. We want to bring in Kobe White at half the salary of LaMelo annually because we think he can at least give maybe 70 to 80% of the production. And we want to see throughout this if we can get Kneppel to develop more, Brandon Miller to develop more, get more good players around our supporting cast. So when that guy eventually becomes available who can be the missing piece, he comes here, he has a team around him. That's their thought process. And who am I to say it's not going to work out for them?
My only argument, I didn't like the mediocrity.
I think
I don't
that
think there was
it won't. But those are two different things.
I'm done talking to you.
But
I'm
listen,
done talking to you.
To play devil's advocate,
That's what he's doing.
I know, but to play, I guess maybe to go on
It's
Joel's
just
side
idiotic
for 1
of
second.
me. Like I'm really upset at myself. Fuck you, like being mad at you. I'm mad at myself.
But would you rather do what Charlotte did or be in Orlando's position, where they traded all the draft capital for Desmond Bane when you had Paulo and Franz that we still don't know if either could be a number one, and you're put in a position
a game
where
away from upsetting the 1 seed.
they were. But I'm just thinking, like, would you rather be the Hornets right now, or would you rather be the Magic?
The Magic are going to play competitive basketball next season.
They're going to be mid.
They
Without their
almost
draft
upset
capital.
the 1 seed, and that's with them having an underwhelming season as hell.
The Magic are going to be in a rebuilding position.
And that
in
player
3
that they
years.
traded for was their best player last season.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Bane was great. That's no indictment on Desmond Bane.
I'm just saying, like, the trade they made.
Yeah, Bane was great.
Bane was everything they thought he would be.
But it's also like what happened another season where at the end injuries really fucked you. And you still don't know if Paulo and Franz work together. Like there's still questions about this core. That's the path that could have gone down for Charlotte. Like, but it just the way last season ended. If it didn't go like that where you're the number one offense for majority of the season, I could be with it. If you're coming off a season obviously where LaMelo was hurt, it's a lot easy to look at this and be like, oh yeah, that's a no-brainer. But when you have it and you have this glimpse, especially if I'm a Hornets fan, I can't even imagine.
But here's the thing: if something bad does happen, that's it. You can't predict it. You can't project that everything's just gonna go smoothly. They bet against things going perfectly again. That's what they bet against. And based on history, I think it's rightful it's rightful for them to predict it that way. Because, for example, I'll say this was a terrible thought process move by the Hornets if tomorrow we got a notification that said that Brandon Miller was just extended on a rookie max extension. You want to know why? Because he hasn't been durable enough in his career to earn that max extension. So next year, when he's eligible for that max, we'll see if he proves it or if he doesn't. And if he is not durable, once again, I'm expecting the Hornets to also not extend him on a rookie max because LaMelo, they traded him.
And to
Because
move off of
clearly
Brandon Miller.
that's
And now Conker Nipple, we
but
pray
that-
to God that you can save our franchise.
But it's the idea of what they're trying to do. We want to bank on more proven things. And I don't think LaMelo was a sure thing. Clearly, he's far from a sure thing.
I mean, draft picks are also not proven things.
No, they're not proven things either.
Nasri's a proven thing.
But I
Especially
like-
when you are the
I
Charlotte
like-
Hornets.
I like
we'll see.
instead-
Hey, three decent picks made
They have.
us believe
will
that
say,
they could be
though,
someone.
Instead of debating, that was actually appreciated that you brought a counterpoint because the Orlando Magic is exactly what the Hornets would have aspired to be if they made an all-in move this year. Like, let's say, for example, they traded a first and a player for Zion Williamson, right? It would have been exciting.
That's all in.
It's part of being all in. I mean, he's an all-star forward when
What's
he's
The
the
healthy.
fucking
What's
Magic
the
traded
Desmond Bane
5
comp?
first-round picks.
What's the Desmond Bane comp?
So should we trade more for Zion or less?
No, I'm just saying, like, that's a great deal for Charlotte.
Okay. But let's say this. If they would have made a
It's
move like
essentially
that,
what Minnesota just did for LaMelo, banking on him.
but I'm unaware of Zion's value. We don't know. I'm just thinking because based
I'm
on
just
his
saying,
health,
I
he could be that.
liked your offer a lot.
Exactly right. But
What's
that's
the
an
trade for like Laurie?
That's attractive.
Like was Desmond Bane? Like they went and got a trade for Laurie. They gave up 3-4 first round picks.
Damn, see, you cooked.
So here's the thing. I appreciate that you like the offer. The point is not about the offer. The point is about bringing in another all-star to go all in the same way that Orlando did. I know Bane has never been an all-star, but he's an all-star level player, at least before he got to Orlando. So Orlando now is staring at a future in which they're about to be a second apron team, which would have been the Hornets' future a year from now if they extended LaMelo Ball to a max and then also had to pay Brandon Miller. You're going to be a second apron team. You have to trade Jalen Suggs probably. A year from now, you probably have to trade one of Paolo or Franz. And if you do that, the value you're going to get back for them is probably not that high. And what are you going to go back into? A rebuild with no draft capital. The Hornets said, instead of going all in, let's get some more assets and let's cheapen out a roster.
They got a first.
They got a first, but they have the second most first round picks of any team right now in the over the next 5 years.
They have
even with that one first, they have a treasure chest of draft capital.
They got Nasri too.
And Kobe White, he's not a bad player. He's not LaMelo Ball, but at $23 million per year, he can average 20 points and 5 assists per game. So you don't have any thoughts about entering the second apron in the near future, and you also don't go all in. Look, listen, if the Hornets should have went all in or not is a different question. Do you think they should have went all in and traded for another all-star and made a run next year?
I would have much rather that than you absolutely blue ball a fan base.
I don't know if you need to go all in where you really do four or five first round picks for, but can you find a way to make this team, make marginal moves, make an upgrade at center, add another wing to this team, add some defense? I feel like there's some stuff around the edges you could have done and just see how the first couple months go. And you know what I mean? Like, I don't think you had to make a decision this offseason to say we either have to trade LaMelo or trade 3+ first round picks for a star. I just don't feel like you were under that type of pressure.
You weren't.
A round table question I ask all you guys. I'll start with you, Drew. You believe in LaMelo Ball?
Of course.
Dels, you believe in LaMelo Ball?
What? Believe in him how?
You're the Hornets GM. Yeah. He's on your team. Okay. He's the highest paid player on the team.
Okay.
You believe in LaMelo Ball. You're the GM.
I'm not a LaMelo guy.
So you don't believe in LaMelo Ball?
Not to be like my number one on a championship team.
To simplify,
the only time that the Charlotte Hornets have had successful seasons in the last, since Kemba Walker is no longer a Hornet.
Yeah.
The only time they've had any type of success.
Yes.
Is when LaMelo Ball was on the court.
And zero playoff
There was only 2 years between the two of them. So it wasn't very long.
Either way, it's not like.
But I didn't ask.
I think that's more an indictment on the Hornets than
I
LaMelo being like,
with
holy
you.
shit.
But I agree with you. Yeah. But the only player outside of Kemba Walker, and Kemba Walker delivered them an 8th seed. That was it, an 8th seed. One time, if I'm not mistaken. The only player who has given them any type of hope is LaMelo Ball. And you just let him walk for a first. And a Naz Reid, who I'm not trying to undersell, is a really strong role player.
So, John.
The only player that gave your franchise hope.
John, do you believe in LaMelo Ball?
I believe in LaMelo
in Charlotte, you're the GM.
In Minnesota, I do. In Charlotte, I don't. And the reason why is, and I feel like it's a cost-benefit analysis if you're Charlotte, the risk of extending LaMelo Ball this offseason to a 2-year, $120 million contract for around $60 million a year would make it a 5-year deal in practice moving forward. If he got hurt and missed half of next season, he would be a dead asset. You wouldn't be able to trade him, and you would be in a worse position than you are right now at this existing roster. The clear concern here for Charlotte is that they didn't get enough for LaMelo. 1 first-round pick in Naz Reid is pretty disappointing.
I'm with you.
And when you look at the way they end the season as the best offense in basketball, they were clearly building something, understandably. But Charlotte saw their trio, and we talked about this on the last show, of Khan, LaMelo, and Brandon Miller, and said, that's not going to be good enough defensively as a perimeter foundation for us to go somewhere meaningful, nor is it good enough for us to make a small move around the edges and take that meaningful step forward to a contender in the Eastern Conference. So for Charlotte, I wouldn't have done it for this package, but I understand the thought process, and I do feel like they're not done yet. With this $40 million trade exception, they're going to turn that salary structure into another player, so this deal is not just Naz Reid, a first-round pick, and 3 swaps, 2 of which may never even convey, maybe all 3, right? It will most likely be an additional player in the same exact structure that the Wolves use the salary that they saved from Julius Randle to make a trade like this happen.
So how long until the Hornets are proving what you can think is a good idea that you don't believe in? How long until that comes into fruition? I'm just curious. Because now the player who was kind of, okay, giving us belief that this could happen in the next 2-3 years, maybe, now we just got rid of that player for a first and Naz Reid, who Naz Reid is going to be a strong asset for them role player wise. How long until now we get this? Like, I give them a great job, Charlotte. How long?
You're asking me to make a prediction. My prediction could be wrong. So whatever I say now in this moment doesn't value what's going to happen 3 years from now. It's
Okay.
just a throw in the air.
That's what I'm asking you to do.
Basically
Two
have
of-
infinite time.
Two of the three people here said that if they were the Charlotte's GM for Charlotte, they did not believe in
All right, what
LaMelo
about
Ball.
you?
For Charlotte, no, I don't. Because
You
he's
had
too,
to say
he's
this.
too,
I agree. Good job, though.
But for
You had to.
for Charlotte, I
'Cause
don't.
2 for 3, I would have been.
Because for Minnesota, I think it's perfect.
Okay.
For Charlotte, trying to build around LaMelo, it is risky. With the information they have, with the reckless driving,
drugs. Or did we talk
75%
about
of
the
his career,
Hornets
he
last
hasn't been.
time I was here, and he was saying how LaMelo Ball, they go and they die by LaMelo Ball. I'm on drugs.
No,
In reference to what?
The team's success.
Their offense this past season. That's completely correct. That doesn't mean if I'm the GM, I'm not trying to think about what this team looks like forward.
But you just told me that you wouldn't have done that.
No, I wouldn't have, but I understand the thought process of why he did it.
Move on,
That's why I
'cause You're
understand.
wasting my time.
No, you're wasting mine
Oh
because
my
you're
God.
trying to find a rebuttal instead of
I-
having a
you know-
discussion.
But you're
We're
killing
having a-
me
we're having a
'cause
dis-
you don't
Drew,
agree.
Drew, you
don't
don't-
agree with the
Drew.
move, but you're just like, okay, good process.
Drew,
I disagree with it. Good
Drew,
process.
I hear what
Drew, this
Joel's
entire
saying.
time, we don't have to debate about this. You don't have to be on the side of, I disagree with the move. We can look at it from the perspective of why the Hornets did it, which I think is far more interesting than just arguing back
But
and
you
forth about
don't
something
agree
dumb.
with it, but you're arguing like you agree with
I
it.
don't agree with them trading it.
That
but
is
like,
what is,
like,
is making
shit's
me.
like-
like John
complicated, man.
said, they have a $40 million trade exception. Did you say that at any point in you speaking?
What is,
$40
okay,
million.
continue.
What that means is that, because I think this is a good way to pivot the discussion.
Okay.
What that means is that the Hornets have the availability, the draft picks to go after a player that can be more of a win-out player. I'm just throwing this out there. What if the Hornets say, we want to go after Jaylen Brown? We want to go after Jaylen Brown. And we want this team to be built around Jaylen Brown. We'll trade Brandon Miller and we'll trade Steinbach in 2 firsts or 3 firsts, and we'll see if the Celtics bite on it. And now I have Kobe White, Jaylen Brown, Kneppel, and then this is what I
At
feel
that
like.
point, why don't you keep LaMelo?
But that's what they believe in more.
That's what I'm wondering.
But the point of
Let's
it is
add
that
a 30-year-old player who, don't get me wrong, is
Yeah.
better.
But
He's better.
that team would need playmaking.
Who's running that offense?
You trade for a star because you'd want to win now. LaMelo gives you the best chance, all through his injuries and all, to win next season.
Why were the Hornets successful this season? Round
The
table.
offense was
Why were they
fucking
successful?
insane.
Their offense was insane. Why was their offense insane? They had a litany of 3-point shooting, but they also had a guy that could get out in transition and feed and set a table for all of these players to be successful.
the success for the Hornets was evident. But even though the lineups with LaMelo were very impactful, we cannot disregard that other players played a role in this team's success as well. Kneppel, being a historically
100%
great
agree.
3-point shooter as a rookie,
100% agree.
played a role. Getting Kobe White for nothing at the deadline played a huge role in their second half ascension. Brandon Miller being healthy played a huge role in their ascension. Diabate turning into one of the best rebounders in basketball was part of their ascension. There were other pieces where this team, it's not like 2018 LeBron James and the Cavs where it's LeBron and
Who's
ass.
making it
it's
like
not
it's-
that.
Jesus Christ.
Joel, what
players
happens
each
when
individually have roles
everyone
on
has
this
to
team.
level up? What happens when Con all of a sudden is number 1, Brandon Miller is number 2, Kobe White's the starting point guard? You're asking everybody to take a leap up, assuming they don't add some sort of all-star level player. That's a whole different game. I think Con is fantastic. If LaMelo Ball wasn't on the team last year, he doesn't have this historic season without LaMelo.
And the only player prior to last season to give you good basketball consistently before this season was LaMelo Ball.
The point of the Jaylen Brown hypothetical was that this exception can be used to
They
get
can't
a player.
aggregate. They can't use a player and the TPE.
Okay, but this exception can be used to acquire another impactful player for them.
You said 40
It doesn't-
million. That 40 million is a strong role player.
Yes, that is why
It's not Jaylen Brown.
No, they can go after some like Trey Murphys of the world, players that make 40 million or less. We'll see who they go after, but that's why this move, like John said, is incomplete.
We believe that Concanipple is our franchise pillar. This move is showing me Brandon Miller is our franchise pillar. These are two players that at least me thinking now after this move, these are our two players that we will give a max contract to.
The bet on
and
is
that's
Conipple.
2 max contracts. And now our $40 million our $40 million contract that we can give out is going to be given to a Trey Murphy.
The bet is on Conipple to scale up his game. And I'd argue that losing LaMelo as a playmaker is going to hurt for the offense in general, but also it's going to ask Conipple and Brandon Miller to transform their game in a way that they wouldn't have had to if LaMelo stayed around, because they wouldn't have had to have the self-creation ability. So in theory, this move should expand Conipple and Miller's game more, because now they know the responsibility is going to be heavier on them, more so Conipple.
For
Because
sure.
For anything, I think that this trading LaMelo was more of a bank on Conipple and what he can
Agreed.
be than anything else. I think this was a bet on his skill set, and we want to build around this player. And with the Hornets and what they had, the immaturity, the hiding him from press conferences because he got into a crash or he drove fast on the road, the not playing for multiple seasons. I mean, you're talking about how LaMelo Ball has been the only thing that Charlotte fans have had hope for, and that hope has been not being available for 80% of your career there and never making the playoffs, and each time you make the play-in, losing in disappointing fashion. Outside of this year, this was their peak, and they won one game and lost their second play-in game, and they missed the playoffs. But even with LaMelo being a bright spot, it didn't add up to any real success that they had, and that's why they felt as if, you know what, we can move off of this and we can be better. And I think that that's what they're banking on.
They had a slow start to a season where the rookie of the year, well, second place, ended up ascending a little bit later, continued this great play, but they started to hit a stride after essentially 2 months of horrendous basketball. Horrendous basketball. We're talking one of the worst teams in the league. To then go to be a play-in team that wins a play-in game against the Miami Heat.
With Bam out the entire game. that matters, because they barely won that game, and Bam missed the entire game.
You beat the Miami Heat.
That game was nuts.
You were one of the worst teams in basketball. For a while, you had the worst record in the Eastern Conference. You turn it around mid-season to be a play-in team. And that same offseason, after having the most success we've had since LaMelo Ball's last healthy season, we decide to throw it away.
I can't put the past. The injury shit is valid. I can't put the Hornets' success or lack of success on LaMelo.
No, it's not on him.
But this is probably the first time in his career we can look at this roster and say there's something here that
got
we can
something
build
to
with.
work with.
Actually, it's the lack of success isn't on LaMelo solely.
No, he
it's
has a
not.
part in it for
But
sure.
him not being available for
3 years.
3 years, how long has he been in the league? For 6 seasons?
How many draft picks have they missed in between all that where they had top 10 picks because LaMelo's been
and
hurt?
what roster with LaMelo Ball on the court in that time span were they going to do something that really would have made you feel confident in the Hornets?
Like they were starting from
Well,
ground
nothing.
zero.
Their
With him.
his best 2 rosters were his first 2 years when he got drafted in his career. They had good players and role players around him. That's his best 2 rosters that he's had. But what I'm saying is that LaMelo Ball, him being unavailable for over half of his time in Charlotte, he's only had 2 games where he's played 70 games. That has also contributed to their lack of success and him not being available. So who knows if he's going to be available as well. I think as much as this is a risk for the Hornets, this is probably an even bigger risk for Minnesota. Minnesota is banking on this move being the move that makes them a team that can hoist up a championship trophy. That is more expectations than Charlotte just winning 1 playoff series. If they win 1 playoff series, it will be more of a success than anything they've done in the LaMelo Ball era.
There's definitely more pressure on Minnesota.
There's more pressure on Minnesota for this move to pan out. This is it. They've exhausted all of their assets. This is the all-in move. There's more pressure on them. I think with Charlotte, we know who they are. They're going to be mid, and they're banking on not being a middle of the pack team and hoping to get some draft luck to bring in a game changer. And then Minnesota, this is
draft luck.
this is their all in move to be a championship team. And I like the pivot in Minnesota's approach because at first they went and they brought in size to combat the Denver Jokic element of it. But now you have two teams in OKC and San Antonio who have elite bigs, elite size, and they clearly said, we're not going to play into that. We're not going to trade for 7-3 guys just to defend Wemby for 8 possessions because we need to have some size out there. We're going to get somebody who can heave up 3-point shots because the way we beat you is not by having a better interior game, it's by having a better perimeter game. And that's what the Lamelo Ball move is, but it comes with a lot of risk.
Yeah.
I think on paper, in practice, the fit, it is all beautiful, but it is not out the realm of possibility that we can be here in December and Lamelo Ball is out for the next 30 games. Like, that is also a realistic possibility. And if that takes Minnesota from being the 3rd seed all the way to the 7th seed in the West, we're also going to have a discussion a year from now about if it was too soon for Minnesota to make the move. So there's risk involved with both sides. And LaMelo is a risky player, so I can't knock the Hornets moving on from a very risky player, and I also can't knock the Timberwolves acquiring a very much high-ceiling player in the same respect.
It's a high-risk, high-reward move for Minnesota that's almost entirely based on the health and availability of their star duo.
And
If we've seen anything the last 3 years, it's that you can't rely on LaMelo Ball to be healthy. And for Charlotte, it's pretty obvious to me with the personnel that they have, their offense can still be good without LaMelo Ball. Because in the small sample we saw last year of Kobe White on the floor with LaMelo off, they had a near 130 offensive rating and almost 600 possessions. So now you pair him alongside Khan, Brandon Miller. I thought Steinbach was a good pick, and the amount of shooting that they have, the defense will get better. And I love LaMelo's fit next to Ant-Man, but there's also an important element of it too where despite being 6'7", he doesn't play anything like it, especially in the defensive end and offensively speaking too. And it's obvious to me that, would you agree, LaMelo Ball is not a number 1? Or do you think he's number 1?
With that.
No, of course.
Would he have to be the Hornets' number 1, or would there be a player that's better than him that they could realistically get in the next year?
The hope was that scoring the basketball, Brandon Miller would be the best scorer on the team.
But who would be the best player?
The best player on the team would be LaMelo Ball.
What's the ceiling on LaMelo Ball as your best player in Charlotte next 2 years?
A playoff team.
Can they win multiple playoff series in a year?
It'd be difficult.
It would be hard, but
Could they win 50 games?
what kind of moves are made?
Could they win 50 games?
It'd be
What
hard.
kind of moves are
It
made?
would be hard.
They just showed me that they were the best team in
But
basketball. What was
also-
their record to
and-
end the season last year?
How does Khan develop? How does Brandon develop? What other players do they bring in? Like, obviously, this version.
Do I get a
with these
legitimate
players,
big? Do I get a big that can space as well?
What big in the market?
Do I get? Say it again.
What big in the market
What big?
Mitchell Robinson.
after the
or
Giannis
somebody else.
trade?
Are we?
If you
You're giving
sign
me
Mitchell
multiple
Robinson-
seasons,
if
so
you
I'm only
sign
going
Mitchell
off next
Robinson-
season.
If you
So
sign,
you're just strictly talking next season. Do they win 50
next
games
3
next year?
years.
3 years now. Now we can make shit shake.
It gets harder, though. It gets harder because you're paying LaMelo a supermax and you're paying
And also,
Miller a max. It
we-
would get harder.
We give
as
a
the
lot
years
of
go on.
shit to LaMelo being injured. The only reason they had these great draft picks is because LaMelo got hurt. That's it.
So LaMelo did him a favor.
Because 100%. Because back-to-back years of LaMelo being on the court, they were a playing team.
The thing is that the
And who did they draft in that time? Do you even know? I don't.
Salon.
Yes.
Oh, you're talking about 24?
Not even. So that's when he was out.
Oh, sorry. What are you talking about when they played?
While
the
he
play-in?
was, that's what I'm saying. While they were in the play-in, who did they draft? I'm curious. Off the top of my noggin, I'm failing.
James Bouknight in 21 or 22.
Facts.
Not
Well
great.
done, because
That's
that
a
was
good
my
one.
first pod here.
Salawan.
The
I
overall
don't know how to
point of
pronounce
this,
the last
though,
name.
and I think
That's
it's,
my point is the only reason that they were fortunate enough to get Brandon Miller and Con Knipple is because, unfortunately, LaMelo was unavailable. And it was a good time for them to be unavailable because it brought them now what they believe are their 2 franchise pillars. And the 1 year now that you got these 2 great guys, credit to the Hornets for hitting what it seems like, because Brandon Miller healthy is a good ball player, and Con Knipple immediately giving dividends. Finally, you put something together of a trio, of a young core that I don't know if you've had in my lifetime. I don't know if you've had that.
but what's the point of it though? Like, what's the point of like crediting
Can we see
LaMelo
it
for being
build?
hurt?
No. There's no point in that. The whole point is that him being injured it allowed them to have the ability to get these two players that are now their pillars.
The thing is that the hypothetical game could be played both ways.
Agreed.
Right? Where
100%
you
agree.
could say if they build correctly around LaMelo moving forward, they
See,
could
that's the
be
thing, and I can't
great.
trust that.
Maybe
I can't trust
it's
that.
like Steph Curry, where it's a blimp on the radar at the end of his career, but it could be something which follows him for the rest of it. In which case, Charlotte probably made the right decision. That's what's going to determine the success of it for Charlotte, to me.
That's all it is. Because the same way you can say
He's going to a perfect team.
if they keep LaMelo,
He's going
these
to a perfect
moves
team.
can
Yeah.
happen for Charlotte. Even with the Hornets' current core, if they make the right moves, this could also be a success for them overall.
LaMelo could have gone to very few other teams, and I feel this. He went to a perfect spot next to a perfect player for him. He basically joined the team with the souped-up Brandon Miller.
And they have depth at guard with Io, Bones Highland. I know Isaiah Evans more of a wing that they drafted. That's another backcourt player. And Dante DiVincenzo got that Achilles surgery immediately. Maybe he returns
He's
before
on
the
Tatum's
playoffs.
hotline. That's what they're
So
calling it.
that's possible that you get Dante as
Efficient.
well. I believe the most underrated player in all this is Johan Berenjay. If he develops into the successor to Rudy Gobert as he ages out of his prime, Minnesota could be set. If he doesn't, as Gobert enters his late 30s, Minnesota may have nothing in their front court outside Jaden playing the 3 and the 4.
It's risky for Minnesota. We've been talking about this for an hour,
No, they
so I'm
went
cool. I'm cool to move on.
Me too.
But it's risky for Minnesota. All your chips are on the table here. It's LaMelo, Ant, Jaden, Gobert. This is the team. This is what we're gonna run with because you're at the second apron. You gave up all the draft picks, but it was a fun trade. It surprised me.
Yeah.
It did surprise the shit
I
out of
wasn't
me.
sure that LaMelo was going to be available. He was made available out of nowhere
Yeah.
a day after the draft.
I always like it when news breaks, such and such is in trade rumors, and then like 12 hours later it breaks.
Happens.
Like,
Yeah.
thank you.
I
Love
didn't
that.
think
You're
that
right. That is peak.
I didn't think that Minnesota had the assets to go get LaMelo without trading Gobert. I thought they would have to give up a pillar. Nas Reed has been good, but he's not the core 3 and he's not Gobert on defense. So I think that was just fine trading him for 3 swaps in a first, but the 3 swaps might not even materialize. It really depends, that's why like it interests me in the fact that Toronto was the other team wanting to trade for LaMelo. If the Raptors wanted to, they could have easily outbid Minnesota in the trade negotiations. They have more draft capital available. They have more players, I think, available that are at least of the caliber of Nas Reed. If they wanted to, they could have. So I wonder why they didn't. Because I would have loved them in Toronto too.
Yeah.
With him and Scotty, I think that would have given them like a real ceiling. And in the Hornets discussion, we really didn't even discuss Toronto as another team that could have been a playoff team next year as well. The uncertainty around LaMelo for the Hornets in terms of how he projects long-term health-wise and just maturity was why they moved off of him. And for Minnesota, their uncertainty in we don't have a franchise point guard. We don't have any future besides Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels, and we're running out of moves to make, and we need to improve over Randall, who Randall was a negative in a lot of moments for us, but at the same time was still an all-star level player and could play like that sometimes. We need to replace that value as well. They said, fuck it, let's go all in. And they did that, and they have a core. And we'll see how it ages for both teams.
Uncertain trades all around. Everyone's uncertain.
But
What
I think
trading's all about.
Minnesota, though, they'll be good, though. I like Ant with LaMelo a lot.
It's fun. It's gonna be like first Minnesota game. Write that down. I'm interested to see what it looks like.
For real.
You think that LaMelo and Ant is a better backcourt than Reeves and Luka?
Yes. Close. In my
No.
opinion,
I
they
think
have
if
the
Reeves and
potential
Luka's
to be
healthy, I'll take them.
they have the potential to be the second best shooting backcourt of all time.
Who
LaMelo and Ant.
are they even better than Reeves and Luka, the shooting backcourt?
Yes.
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 They actually are, yeah.
Nah, because Anthony Edwards is one of, if he keeps this up, he's on track to be one of the best shooters of literally of all time.
Anthony
His
Edwards
volume and efficiency.
shot this past season 49% on catch and shoot threes.
What happens if LaMelo regresses as an efficient shooter? Then all of a sudden it's a
The
conversation.
thing is, these last couple of seasons, LaMelo has not been the most efficient 3-point shooter.
So
Yeah.
you think the only backcourt that shoots better than LaMelo and Ant is Curry and Clay?
They have the potential to become
all
that.
time, you're saying?
All time,
Wow.
they have that. The
Wow.
volume, efficiency, versatility, and the fact that you have to guard LaMelo from 30 feet. I rag on his shot selection a lot. There's 3 Ds of LaMelo. I was thinking about this on my way over here. Durability, defense, decision making.
Mm.
All of them to me are concerns. But the fact that he can pull from 30 feet just forces and stretches defenses out to such an extreme degree. And when they are on when you're getting LaMelo in a season making 37% of his threes. Yeah, Joel said it before, and I agree. With the 23 point attempts nearly a game and the amount of spacing that you're going to have, I like it a lot.
But duo for duo, just the backcourt. Shooting, because shooting, valid. Luka and Reeves, it's close.
It's really about Reeves and LaMelo, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Luka's better than Ant. But
Yeah.
I think that the gap between those two is not far off. Where Luka's here, Ant's here, it's really how you value LaMelo.
Mhm.
Because if you think
It's also how you
LaMelo,
value fit.
yeah, if you think LaMelo's just by far and away better than Austin Reeves, you go with Minnesota's duo. But if you think that gap is pretty close, then I could understand going with the Lakers.
Because ideally, you probably want you bring in LaMelo to be the point guard, run the show. Ideally, the better players run the show, right? Like ideally, Luka runs the show. Ideally, Ant runs the show. But it's really how you value Austin Reeves and his ability to play off versus LaMelo Ball playing off Ant when he has to go to work.
Yeah, and
Well-
a vacuum is one discussion, but I just feel like there's too many limitations on the defensive end with that Laker duo.
Yeah.
That's why I go with the
The thing
Wolves.
is, LaMelo has played with a player that is better trying to create for himself in Brandon Miller. He's already played with a player like that.
Yeah, but it's not to Ant's level.
Of course not, but that is going to still. I'm telling you, I'm sure that LaMelo would have loved if Brandon Miller ended up while he was still in Charlotte, turning out to be that offensive, that scoring player that he was sought to be when he first got drafted.
Especially you can put pressure on the rim.
Anthony Edwards' ability to do quite literally everything scoring the basketball, it's just going to make LaMelo Ball's life easier.
I just look at it like this: LaMelo and Ant have the potential to be better offensively, and they're going to be better defensively too. So, like, if they're better offensively and defensively, there's no way that Luka and Reeves is better
They
backcourt.
don't know
It's
about
true.
20-25 Luka defense.
They don't. True.
Embarrassing.
Very good point. However, I will say because there will be a little bit less responsibility on Ant on Ball, maybe that'll translate to the defensive side. And then naturally with LaMelo Ball having Rudy Gobert backside,
It won't look as ugly.
it won't look nearly as bad.
You just need him to put more effort in.
Yeah, for sure. And it's more just IQ than anything, I feel like. Like, I feel like some of the time it could be just effort being tired, but some of it too is just kind of, getting lost.
It's the usage. Just lowering that will definitely unlock him defensively more.
Some other NBA news that came into fruition is that the Lakers extended Austin Reeves 4
Congratulations.
years, $185 million.
W.
And I know, Drew, you've been somebody you haven't been a fan of this being a reality, but now that it's here, what's next for the Lakers?
Charles texted me immediately. We can't be fucking serious. And I don't hold that same sentiment that strongly. It is worrisome for me personally that the co-star for the Luka first contract tenure is Austin Reeves. Now, Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic together, they're incredible. They have been very successful. Offensively, we know what we're getting. Two guys that create for themselves, two great playmakers, one all-time playmaker in Luka Doncic. Luka's defense, as the season went on, got significantly better. Unfortunately, he broke down at the very end. Austin Reeves is another player who has had injury and hasn't been able to give us a full season of the production that he gave us this past season. So I think the Lakers were caught in a position where we simply couldn't let Austin Reeves go. And a sign and trade, what player could have gotten us the value in the return of an Austin Reeves,
Jalen
which is
Duren.
why we held on. And that is why I can live with it. I think Luka needs Austin Reeves to give us some type of belief that we can contend and we can compete and then make moves around the margins. LeBron James most likely will be back next season. I do believe that he will be a Los Angeles Laker, especially after what reports are being told. And it seems as if he's just going to finish his career in LA. It's just now we're giving a max contract to Austin Reeves. Who's my big man? We're giving a max contract to Austin Reeves. Is Rui Hachimura gone? Guaranteed. Not even thinking about it. Are we bringing him back? Do we have the funds to bring him back? Do you let LeBron James walk? Especially after how he looked last season, especially in the playoffs. Do you not re-sign him? Do you not want him to retire a Los Angeles Laker? It's banking on a guy who has shown you I can be a great playmaker. I can be a great scorer. I can be an efficient scorer. I just don't know how available I am going to be. And then come playoff time, I don't know how efficient I'm going to be. And it's been very inconsistent with his playoff splits as well. I'm on board with it because I feel like there was no better option for us. $195 million is a lot of money, but he's earned it. He's a great player. And him and Luka have proven to play well together. So I'm going to trust that.
There's only one avenue in which this is a clear long-term liability and will set the Lakers back. LeBron has a 59% chance on Poly Market to return to the Lakers.
Okay.
If he
That's what the
returns-
public thinks.
If he returns, what happens?
If he returns, the Lakers are screwed.
There we go.
If he
Such a
doesn't
terrible
return,
statement to make, because when he was the third option, we never lost.
if he doesn't return, the Lakers are screwed.
we didn't.
Screwed out of
This
the way.
this
Oh.
is a rare
Nice.
lose-lose
Nice.
situation. This
I
is
thought it
a
was gonna be LeBron hate.
this is a rare lose-lose situation in which you extend Reeves, and even with the Reeves extension taken into account, the Lakers have $48 million in cap space. The problem is that the free agents, LeBron, Rui, Kennard, Marcus Smart, the big two, LeBron and Rui Hachimura, are both free agents. $48 million in cap. If I'm expecting LeBron to still be LeBron and demand a lot of money, that cap is going to go fast quick. But the problem is that there's not another player in free agency that is worth that amount of money that can make your chances better to compete right now. But if they don't bring back LeBron, there's a realistic avenue that this team could bring back Rui, can bring in Mitchell Robinson, can bring in a John Collins, can bring in players that fit the current timeline better, can maybe bring in an Andrew Wiggins. There's more potential for this team to bring in more high-quality players to surround Luka long-term versus if they bring in LeBron James for this one season. This one season, their chances will be better. But then next season, when you don't have the luxury of having this amount of cap space because Reeves is not signing his contract until after the Lakers make these moves, so they have cap space in the first place, it defeats the purpose if you're signing LeBron on a one-year rental. I think the best avenue for the Lakers, and this is even if the Cavs agree, is to sign and trade LeBron to Cleveland for Jared Allen, because it gives the Lakers a long-term center next to Luka Doncic, a real lob threat, a defensive presence, and then you try to plug in the holes to make this roster better. Will that materialize in the Lakers being a championship contender? No. And that's why this is a lose-lose. If they keep LeBron this year, we know what their ceiling is. They won't be able to surround this big three with a good enough roster. And if they let LeBron walk, they'll have a better chance long-term. But unless a player that is a true number 2 option on the championship team comes along, or they surround this team with real legit 3-and-D wings and some defensive presences, they're going to be screwed either way. I don't know how the Lakers realistically turn this team into a championship contender.
Signing LeBron to a 1-year deal, you could argue, is beneficial.
You have to. LeBron can't take the max. That's the only way you try to thread this needle.
He will take the max.
But if I'm the Lakers, the teams that are interested in LeBron, Miami doesn't have money. Cleveland doesn't have money. The Warriors, with their Keem and Jimmy Butler, don't have money. Who's going to go out there and give LeBron the max where he's going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go play for Brooklyn? Is that what he's going to do? So if you get LeBron at 20, 30 million instead of 50 million, you have some cap space. Maybe you could go get a Mitchell Robinson.
Not realistic.
I don't know. If I'm LeBron James, what's your option? You're not getting paid more from Miami. You're not getting paid more from Golden State. You're not getting paid more from Cleveland. What other team realistically would LeBron go to?
The thing is, LeBron will retire.
Okay.
That is
Okay.
not something that you can just say okay
I think you have
to.
to call us both. Be like, listen, LeBron, we love you, but we cannot pay you and be competitive. You're LeBron. You got billions of dollars. Can we give you 30 instead of 50?
That is a Laker problem, though. That's not LeBron's fault.
But LeBron knows the CBA. He knows what
It's
first
not
and second
LeBron's
aprons
fault
do and
that
shit.
he's just way better than anybody ever thought he would be at 41
Man,
years
If
old.
Jalen Brunson took a $100 million pay cut, fucking LeBron could take 20 mil his last year.
I mean, listen, Brunson is one of one, and it's why it's such a special thing that he did, because almost nobody in NBA history has done what Jalen Brunson
to
has
stand
done.
on LeBron's legs.
Well, according to Shams, the Lakers and LeBron haven't been negotiating.
I know. That's the latest report, which is Interesting.
If the Lakers go in a different direction, I wouldn't fault them. I don't think they can lose LeBron for nothing. I would try to sign and trade him.
Where does LeBron go?
I think Cleveland is the only other option.
Their second apron.
And on Polymarket, it shows that too. They're second in odds. Lakers are at 1, but that's why they trade Jared Allen to make that work. So
I just get concerned.
If
for
TPE,
the Lakers.
40 mil, there you go.
If the Lakers do what you just said, and it's Mitchell, it's Rui and John Collins, and those are year-long like how many years are we talking? Because I think Rui, that's a 3-4 year deal. I think Mitchell Robinson, that's a 3-4 year deal. And John Collins, let's pray it's a 1. This is a contract. Mitchell,
Mitchell's probably 2 to 3.
decent player,
that
fair.
could be 2.
My concern is health with Mitchell, obviously. Rui Hachimura, no concerns. 0. He has earned nothing but praises from me, and I've always been on Rui's side. I love him. However, 1 year of LeBron James, and then he decides whether he wants to keep playing or not. And now we have the max freed up, and we have money to actually see a different free agent class.
But I don't think that I'm not sure. So you have to
I'm gonna look.
enlighten me on it. But if LeBron comes back next year, even accounting for him being off the books completely, they still might not have money because they're paying Luka and Reeves a lot of money.
Well,
But that's
they
two
won't have
deals.
money to get like a max player. You could get
Correct.
a solid role
Correct.
player or something. You know, you could take in more salary because you won't be a second apron team or anything.
We're assuming Giannis 100% resigns.
Yeah.
Okay?
Giannis resigns with the Heat, correct?
That's what I'm saying. 100% resigns.
I'm expecting him to.
You don't think he opts out?
Giannis?
He's going to get a new deal.
He
So
opts
we're-
out to resigns. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
He's not hitting the market. I think there's a less than 1% chance he is a Laker.
With
next
the
year.
amount
That's your
that
answer.
Miami traded away, I'd be shocked.
And
I would be shocked too.
All the reports say that Giannis wants to resign. He'll
Okay,
probably get
good.
something before the season starts.
Okay.
They wouldn't have made the trade without that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, there was only a couple teams that he was willing
It
to
was
resign with. and
Boston, Minnesota,
Miami
and
was one of
Miami.
them.
all right. Insane. Denver continues to be dog shit come playoff time. Nikola Jokic, 2027 free agent.
I don't know, man.
There's a lot of overlap with Jokic and Luka.
I know. That's one of the main reasons I said it. Not even trying to be funny.
There's a just as good odds that Luka leaves if Jokic gets there.
But Luka's already signed.
Well, I'm saying he's been reported that they don't know if he's going to sign another extension.
The
I mean,
best thing
Luka
for
already
Luka's
did it, is
career
what
is
I'm saying.
demanding a trade. And
He already
not-
signed
I think
multiple
he
years.
get like another extension in a year, though.
I don't think it's a year. I think he's still locked on for 2 more.
Okay. No, because, for example, Jaylen Brown could add 2 years onto his contract, but he's still extended for the next, 3 years.
In order for the Lakers to be a true contender, they need a move to really fall in their lap. It doesn't even have to be trading for a star, but it's hitting on an obscene amount of under the radar gems that turn into really good quality
And a more
stars.
awesome-
Player
Yes.
option 28-29. So we still got a couple years.
Yeah.
Luka player option 28-29.
Yes.
So he can hit the market in
Mhm.
2029.
Mhm.
That's more likely.
Then Jokic leaving Denver.
That's just more likely than Luka staying in LA. I don't think they're going to be able to build a team around him that could compete for a championship. They're, like I said, they're screwed either way.
Wait, if he
If-
declines that option, he's a free agent in 28,
2029.
29.
Donovan Mitchell, free agent, 27.
Well, no, if he declines the player option 2020, 29, that means he's not under contract 20.
Yeah, he's in the 2029 offseason, a free agent.
Okay, but wouldn't he decline it the next year? Am I crazy?
No, I don't understand what you're saying at all.
Like, for
actually.
example, if you sign like a 1+1, right? You're on the team for 1 year, then you become a free agent. So if Luka, if his extension's in 2029, if it's a player option, he declines it, that means he would be on a new team in 2028.
No, because he declined it for the. Actually, you're right.
Right?
You're right.
So he'd
2028.
be 2 years.
So
free
he'd
agent.
be. So he could
That's
be
what
a
I
free
said,
agent
2
in 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. We're on the
So
same page.
2 years, that's not that far.
Yeah.
You know
So
what I
that-
mean?
That's what I'm
means-
saying. You think he calls it quits after 2 years?
I mean, dude, he's gonna be in the middle of his prime
Well, at
with a
that
team
point,
that
it'd
can't
be
compete.
3.5
3 and a
years
half,
on LA.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
If he's on the team at that moment in his prime in the West with the Spurs and OKC looking stacked, I mean, I think that'd be the smart decision. for him.
2027 free agency is nuts. It's really beautiful. Genuinely great.
I mean, most of those guys probably get extended.
Oh, I mean, that's free agency.
Yeah.
However,
Yeah,
it is one of the best it's one of the best draft of free agencies in a long time.
Bring back free agency.
It's
man.
hard to envision the Lakers really making that move. when LeBron got to the Lakers, they were very fortunate that they had a bunch of young top draft picks that they could trade away to get Anthony Davis, and they surrounded that roster with really good players. But you even look at like Kobe Bryant in 2007 when they landed Pau Gasol. That was a miracle that they did that. If it wasn't for that Pau Gasol trade, they don't win championships. They don't win back-to-back. And they traded Kwame Brown and a second-round pick that became Marc Gasol in that trade, which nobody knew he'd be that good. So they traded nothing for an all-star. Unless a move like that happens to the Lakers, then it's hard to envision them competing at a championship level.
Hey, we got Luka. I'm not ruling out anything. I'm not.
Luka.
We got Luka. I'm not ruling it out. We're the Lakers, and we got Luka. That's two things on my side.
Luka Lakers.
That's why I don't know.
You know what 2 L's make?
I don't know what the Lakers should do, but I trust JJ Redick's judgment. I think he will make the right decision. What's better for them long term is probably signing 2 starting caliber centers in free agency and then signing a wing. That's what I think is better for them. They need a center.
I can't let my big signing this offseason be Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, it's a scary signing.
It's a risk.
I actually had Joe in the next segment. We do. I had Mitchell Robinson going to the Lakers, but I didn't feel good about it. It just
I don't
feels
feel
like,
good.
What other are you going to trade for Jared? Like what?
The only other
player
option
is it?
is offering Kessler an absurd amount of money that Utah doesn't match.
Yeah.
That's
Or
it.
praying Anthony Davis does one.
And then if you give him that money, how are you going to bring Rui? How are you going to bring LeBron?
And that Utah has already stated that they're willing to match anything for Kessler.
Yeah, they'd be stupid.
We'll see how free agency goes, but that's their avenue. It's either signing Mitchell Robinson to like a $15 annual year, or it's Walker Kessler for like $32 million.
If it's Mitchell 2 years, 15 a year, I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either.
The Suns have done some great things. They kept all of their free agents. Colin Gillespie, 4 years, $48 million. Mark Williams, 3 years, $38 million. And Jordan Goodwin, 3 years, $19 million. These 3 players come back for a combined $31 million annually. How have you liked the Suns continuing the continuity they had of last year's surprise team, bringing everybody back? A lot of Suns fans thought that one of these guys would have been gone. The usual odd man out was Mark Williams in a lot of these conversations. But he comes back, and you still have Oso, you still have Maluwach. So this is a very deep center rotation, and I'm surprised they were able to bring all 3 of them back.
Yeah, Jordan Ott's going to have a lot to sort out because this is a deep roster, and it's an expensive roster at $213 million roughly from what I looked at. And Phoenix has a lot of these younger players like they drafted last year who need to get some level of opportunity because they're going to year 3 after a year. So it's a good offseason. The moves have been fairly good value, but it's an interesting dilemma for the Suns where you don't know how it's going to all come together, especially with the fact that you still feel like you're a tier 3 team in the Western Conference. It's going to be stuck in the plan again. But I like the moves that they made so far.
Do you know Gillespie set the Suns record for 3-pointers made? I would have just assumed it was Devin Booker, but no, Colin Gillespie last year, Suns record for 3-pointers made. All 3 of these players, for the price you got them at, you can't be mad. Gillespie showed that he could play with Booker, he could play without him. He could handle the ball, he could play off ball. Jordan Goodwin brings some defense and some toughness to the team. I mean, $12 million for Gillespie, $6 million for Goodwin. I think Mark Williams got around $13 million. All in all, you have to have depth. This NBA shown us, you have to have guys that can do multiple things. And all 3 of these players contribute to the Suns last year. The end of the season was obviously ugly, but the fact that they were even an 8 seed, where it felt like they were a shoo-in for a potential bottom 5 seed when we were going into the season with all the moves they made in the offseason. It feels like, post KD, Bradley Beal, all of this stuff that's going on, put together a team that I think Phoenix can be proud of, because that was just an ugly era of basketball. Jordan Ott, I think, showed a lot of promise in his first year as a head coach. And I think the next step is you have a lot of salaries that you can match to go and actually get someone that is, a co-star running mate to Devin Booker with, the Dylan Brookses and the Jalen Greens of the world. It's just, I think, balancing, let's, build this roster. You still don't have all of your draft picks. Of course, you got some from the Kevin Durant trade, but balancing that while still being competitive.
And honestly, I thought that these were all fairly priced contracts. Gillespie, for the season he gave you to get him on $12 million a year, the excellent deal. Keeping Mark Williams to continue having the depth and size at the big man position. We talk about it over these last few years. One of the greatest luxuries a team could have is depth at the big position. And the Suns had that. And this year they played team basketball I am interested to see how does Dylan Brooks look year 2 in the Suns uniform. I'm not here to doubt it because of how great he was in year 1, but I am interested, and I'm definitely intrigued about how this team looks running it back, because if this is a team that continues to be a solid squad that is above average on both offense and defense, is this a team we look at the deadline to make a move to kind of put themselves in contention to be a team that can win a playoff series? You have Devin Booker. You have a guy that still is in the prime of his career, one of the better talents in this league. How are you going to continue to maximize him? And I think that given this season and how much they accomplished, and you could argue over accomplished, it makes you believe in direction of this front office for the Phoenix Suns. So keeping these 3 players who played strong roles in their own right, Gillespie obviously more than the other 2, especially at the price point, I like what they're doing. I'm more so, this is a team that I'm just keeping notice, because I think that there's something cute that they're building, but I don't know what's the moves that they can make that could now get them back to what they were a few years ago. I think that, I don't want to say they struck lightning in a bottle, but you had second chance Chris Paul on the last elite years of his career, with Devin Booker ascending to superstardom, and now a belief in DeAndre Ayton and what he could be with great role players and Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson. It's just, we're far removed from that. And now they're back to getting to team basketball. I'm just interested to see what's their next move. Is there a power move, or are they just going to continue playing all around, building a well-rounded team?
This is a team that has a patient approach because they have nothing else to look forward to in regards to any draft capital coming in or a rising young star. They have young players that you feel good about that are promising. I love Maluach and I love Rasheer Fleming. I think those 2 will be really good for them. But Phoenix is in a position where they don't own their draft picks. So trading away any player that has a lot of value like Devin Booker, it's not going to result in nothing unless you are trading back for all of your picks. Mm-hmm. And now with the new rules in the lottery, it makes those even less attractive. So the best solution for them is making the roster very deep with good rotational players in hopes that a disgruntled star does become available that doesn't have much value. I think this is probably not going to happen, but my dream fit for the Phoenix Suns is Zion Williamson. I think Zion Williamson addresses something that they don't have right now, and that's real rim pressure. And it could be a spot in which he can finally thrive in. And I know that this is the annual Zion spiel in a new situation, but I just don't know what the Pelicans are waiting for.
What about John?
I don't like John Morant because he's risky. He's a negative asset. He has 3 years left on his contract, and he's never healthy. He doesn't play. I would rather go and get Zion than go and get John Morant. I don't know what the Pelicans are waiting for. I mean, they've had Zion for years now, and they haven't had any success. Zion Williamson, it feels like most players in New Orleans are just rotting away. Whether it's just Trey Murphy,
They're all
Herb
available.
Jones,
Talk about a
Zion.
player that can fall into the Lakers' lap.
Yeah, all those players, I just feel like they need
Like
to move
that
on.
I like that. You'll find a way.
And
You'll
I
always find a way.
desperately want Phoenix to move. I want the Pelicans to move on from Zion, because if Zion lands in Phoenix, I'm not saying this is a contender, but it'll be a very fun team to watch. And that's the
It
spot
stimulates some blood.
in
I
which
like that.
he could revive his career there and maybe
What's
be
the
durable.
package?
Man, it's
Jalen
shitty.
Green.
The Suns don't got nothing.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's Jalen Green, and it would have to be like a Rasheer Fleming. It'd have to be one of those young guys. I know the Suns fans don't want to trade any of those guys, but it's gonna have to be one of those guys. Right now, the best trade package they could offer is like a combination of like Royce O'Neal and Ryan Dunn and maybe Jalen Green. You know,
Yeah.
that's what they can offer. They don't have anything legitimate.
I'd give up Jalen Green for Zion.
Oh, of course I would.
Yeah.
That's why they're best.
The only good player for them in the playoffs this past season.
Jesus Christ.
Clearly, I'll
I'm
give up Jalen Green for
bugging?
Zion.
I'm bugging.
I mean, Devin Booker wasn't great. Anyway.
Fucking guy was saving legacies.
Yeah. Shout out to those 4 games of Jalen Green.
Take me. I wish he could have did it in Houston, man. Things could have been different.
He's always due for a heater. But no, the Suns, they're just stacking their team with good role players, and we'll see how it comes into fruition. We're going to preview free agency, but before we get to that, I want to just tell a little story about the worst free agency move in NBA history,
Okay.
which I think is unequivocally 1998, Joe Smith going to the Timberwolves. If you guys weren't familiar, I know John has some information on this, but
John saved me in short form. For
Oh,
sure.
okay, good.
yeah, we did keep the Cup 5, the worst
John said
signings
auto
ever.
keep. I said, oh shit, okay.
The Joe Smith debacle.
It killed the
And this is
T-Wolves.
why anybody that kept up or went back and tracked Kevin Garnett's career, Kevin Garnett, more than any other superstar in NBA history, was failed by his franchise. They were never able to properly surround him with good talent outside of one season. And in 1998, the Timberwolves signed Joe Smith to now it wasn't under the table contract, it was just an illegal contract. They put in the contract 3 one-year deals for the minimum. But when they finally had bird rights to him, they would sign him to a 7-year, $86 million deal in 2001. The NBA caught wave of this, and because the agent that represented Joe Smith, he got fired from his agency or he left. It was one of those two things, and the agency sued him, and they found all of this in writing in the contract. So we know about situations where people circumvent the cap. The issue with this is that it was in writing in the contract, like clear circumvention. And
Caught.
the Timberwolves were penalized by this. 5 first-round picks they forfeited. 2 were returned later. A $3.5 million fine. And Joe Smith's contract that he had, it was voided, and the bird rights were stripped away. The GM, Kevin McHale, was forced to take a leave of absence, and their owner was suspended. So all of this happened as Kevin Garnett is ascending into one of the top talents in the NBA. And this paved the way for the worst free agent signing in NBA history, in which it's so crazy because in 1999, he was eligible for an $80 million contract with the Warriors. And then he signed like a 1-year, $1 million contract with the Timberwolves.
Mhm.
And he just kept signing 1-year deals at $1 million, $1 million, $1 million. And then the NBA found out because in that 4th year, it was written in the contract that now that we have you for this amount of time, we're going to sign you to $87 million for 7 years.
Did nobody be like, if he was worth $80 million, why was he signing $1 million contract?
He wasn't. Yeah, he was not worth that. And
Yeah.
that's just Minnesota being Minnesota
Okay.
in the Kevin Garnett prime years. So when he won MVP in 2004, they didn't have a first round pick. Same with 01 and 02. And some of the talent they did have, they let walk out the door. And the rest is
signing free
history.
agency.
finds his way to Boston, wins Defensive Player of the Year and a championship.
Shout out to KG.
Minnesota, the curse is real for the franchise. I'm hoping it could turn around with LaMelo Ball, but no, that's why Kevin Garnett, to me, like, I think he's as talented as any of those all-time greats in the 2000s. He's as good as them. He just didn't have the supporting cast.
Reminds me of like Harden.
I guess to answer
Harden,
that question
yeah.
better, Dells,
Yeah,
Joe
he
Smith
does,
was
yeah.
like the first overall pick in 95, so they're paying him off potential.
Okay.
And
okay.
in Golden State, he was productive. Then he went to Philly for half a year and was very underwhelming. And that was right when the Wolves signed him at a low point in his career.
He was
Well,
clearly
Then a low point.
like he was clearly like not good anymore. The second year of his contract,
Yeah.
the second year of the Minnesota contract, it was clear that he just was not good. Like it was such an overpay that they were about to make. But yeah, no, Minnesota screwed Kevin Garnett over. But at least he won a championship in Boston because he was that anchor, man.
We always
love
got him,
KG.
bro. Maybe Harden will come by one day.
Skill set for skill set, KG's better than Tim Duncan. I think just when you measure the skills, I think he's a better player. If you swap their situations, I'm not saying they went 5 with KG, but they definitely have sustained success for sure.
A lot of the perimeter skills KG is going to get.
Yeah.
Shooting, passing, ball handling.
Face up game for sure.
Yeah.
Bro, he shot 49% on long twos.
Imagine someone said, yeah, bro.
He
That
would have
back
been a
feet.
good shooter if he played in the
sure.
modern NBA.
Bro was fucking shooting with both feet on the 3-point line.
Yeah.
And you can argue he's just as good of a defender as
He had a
Duncan
king
too.
for it. It felt like he was
Yes.
like, yeah, I'm on.
And honestly, bro, back in the day, I didn't think twice of it.
Nah, he just shot him. Just like, yo,
yeah.
great shot.
Yeah. Like,
He's
don't
still
even think
shooting
about
them
it.
to this day.
You saw the workout video?
Yes.
He had? That shit was funny.
We need to bring that shot back, man. We need to go back to 2010s basketball. On Polymarket, all these free agency moves that we're about to talk about, most of them are markets on Polymarket.
Let's go.
Where you think LeBron James is going to go, where you think Rui Hachimura is going to go, where you think Mitchell Robinson is going to go. Some of them that already have been shut down, like where Austin Reeves is going to go. That market clearly goes back to the Lakers. All these markets for free agency are available on Polymarket. So if you want to make your prediction on where you think a certain player will head to in free agency, you can on Polymarket. You can use our code PAS26. Deposit $20, get $50. Please predict responsibly because our predictions can be wrong. And I could disagree with you, but that don't mean I can't understand you, brother. I understand you. So we're going to get into free agency. Predicting where the top NBA free agents will go. Let's start with the restricted free agency. This might be a breeze by because most of these players, we probably aren't predicting they will be on new teams. So starting with restricted free agency, Jalen Duren.
This might be the only one worth conversating of him being on a new team because it seems as if they're in a dispute. I'm going to go with the Pistons. I just don't think they can afford to lose him, especially after the Isaiah Stewart move. So I think he will be a Piston.
You hear the Jaylen Brown sign and trade rumors. I pray to God that's not true
That's a fleece.
for them.
Yes.
Yeah, no, thank you. Send Cade.
I'm a Piston fan.
I think he goes back to Detroit. I don't know if Detroit's gonna find a trade partner. If they do, I feel like eventually they'll come to an agreement.
I just wonder what team's going to come in with a ridiculous offer sheet.
Exactly.
at
Who
cap
wants
space, which
Jalen
I'm trying
Duren
to
that
see.
bad?
The Lakers, Brooklyn, don't see it. Chicago, they just got Nick Claxton. So realistically, if I'm Detroit, that would make the most sense just from a landing spot or a destination perspective. And I hope that they don't have to drastically overpay for his services.
I think it's the Pistons. The next player up, Walker Kessler.
Back to Utah.
Most likely. If I'm the Lakers, I'm throwing an offer sheet.
Love
Worst
you.
they do is match it.
Thanks for saying it so I didn't have to.
Utah feels weird to me. What are they going to do with Jaren, Laurie, and Kessler? One of those guys needs to go.
They
Sounds
haven't
awesome.
yeah.
They haven't that far ahead. You know?
I would argue this season, he tested out Laurie
Fuck
at the
it.
three. He played the three
Fuck
in
it.
Cleveland, and they were a
It's a huge
playoff
team.
team until the injuries killed him that season.
And don't get rid of Walker and Darren's.
Listen, you got guards you love. You know what I mean? Feeling
I
good
will
about
let this
Keontae,
team
feeling
play
good
out.
about DP.
Basketball
With
this
Ace
season,
Bailey,
baby.
though, he can't come off the bench the entirety of his rookie
Yeah.
contract. So long term, you're gonna have to figure out something, and
Someone's
maybe
gotta go.
maybe it's injuries.
Ace
Maybe
can't play
Jaren
the
misses
three?
time. Well, I would
Laurie-
argue Laurie's
Laurie
gonna
playing the
start.
3. Jaren 4, Kessler 5.
Walker can't come off the bench. I'm tweaking.
Who's the center?
Yeah,
Can't
we're
be
cooked.
Jaren.
Can't be Jaren.
Yeah.
We're cooked. Has to be.
I don't, man, this team is going to be fun, but I don't
It's
see
gonna be
it.
interesting.
Payne Watson.
Hey, this is why you
Denver.
pay Will Hardy, the genius, the
He has to
mastermind.
maximize it.
Yeah.
Payne Watson, right now, it's been reported that Denver's willing to pay $20 to $30 million annually for Payne Watson.
I think they need him. He needs his athleticism.
You're hype?
Hoping. Dreaming.
That's a Brooklyn net.
Probably.
Might be a Chicago Bull.
No, they have too many wings that are iffy shooters. They just drafted Noah Senge last year.
Okay.
Caleb Wilson. They just drafted.
They
Terrence
do have a
Wayne.
lot of
Good
Payne
point.
Watsons
Good point.
already.
They have a
They
ton
have a
of Payne
million
Watson.
wings.
I can see
that
Brooklyn.
can sort of
I
shoot.
can see Brooklyn.
See Brooklyn.
That's gonna hurt.
Denver needs this. You know,
Need it bad.
they need him to pan out. James
thing.
Harden.
Good thing we
I think
Go
goes
back
back to
to
the
Cleveland.
Cavs.
Cavalier pretty comfortably.
Yeah. If they, like I said earlier, if they can sign and trade Allen, go get LeBron, move Mobley to the 5,
You know,
get
I'm
a
praying.
4.
I'm praying on the Nuggets' downfall. 0 because of you. I love you actually. Solely so Jokic hates the Nuggets.
You're looking at the 27 free agency.
That's all I'm doing.
It's possible.
The worst thing we did was give this guy a fucking phone.
Draymond Green. Green goes back to the Warriors.
Yes.
Or retires.
Okay. Andrew Wiggins.
Miami.
This is a big one.
I'd argue he's essential to Miami.
yeah. If Miami doesn't bring him back, I don't know what they're gonna do.
Yeah, part of the allure of getting Giannis and building this defensive unit is Wiggins with it.
Yeah.
There's Davion, Wiggins, Giannis band that gives you an elite defensive floor
Mm-hmm.
and ceiling.
Love Davion, man.
Tari Eason.
Out of left field, Brooklyn comes off the bench as a 6-man.
He does feel like someone that they could let go.
How much money is he gonna make? Because I'm inclined to say Los Angeles.
How much? What's Tari's expected contract?
The
Do we
Lakers
have
can
something?
get any free agent they want. It's
If they let
LeBron
LeBron
goes.
go.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna move on to we have one more. Benedict Mathurin. He goes back to the Clippers.
Clipper.
We're assuming.
Need to.
Now here's where things get interesting.
Tari expected about 25 a year.
No.
Sheesh. Yeah, that's too much.
That's what one of these
Wouldn't
Rockets
feel
sites are
comfortable with
saying.
that.
22.
The Rockets would be fools to pay that too.
Rockets wires.
I'll be honest. He's gonna be like that last second free agent. if that's the contract
Yeah,
he's demanding.
No way. He really, the second half of the year after his injury, he tanked his value. On the
Shot was
market.
so bad.
Yeah.
And he was leading the NBA in 3-point percentage with like 15 games. He was hot in like the first 2 months.
So you're saying it's possible?
No,
There.
before his injury, it was possible.
Tari's
Like,
mom was like,
before he
lethal
played some of his
shooter.
worst ball.
Please.
Now
Save
we
him.
get into the interesting ones. This is unrestricted free agency. LeBron James.
LA.
I'm
Late-
going with the Cavaliers. Think the reunion happens.
So he signs a minimum.
And I think the Lakers, they
Or
sign
they-
and trade for him. They get Jared
sign
Allen.
and
The
trade.
thing is, it just makes no sense for the Cavs to do that.
I think it makes the most sense.
Why?
They need to
Because
win.
if they don't move, if they bring back Harden and they don't move on from Donovan Mitchell, it signals to me they're still all in. They're all in a winning championship. If you're all in, LeBron gives you a better chance than Jared Allen to win in the playoffs. And that's why. If it's just about this year, then go all in and don't think twice about it. Because if they fail again, Mitchell is going to be eligible for a Supermax, and the Cavaliers are probably not going to want to pay that. So this is your final year and see what you got. Mobley at the 5. It does hurt losing Allen long term, but if this core doesn't win a championship together, then Allen is going to leave
Yeah,
regardless.
in the long term, don't matter if this don't work out in the next year. The Cavs just need an enforcer.
They
Someone
do.
to let a fire under these guys, and that could be LeBron.
They
Could be
need
the
to
king.
they need to change something. Like every year it feels like worse than the last. I know they made the ECF this year, but it's like, damn, the way you went out, how you lost game 1 and just kind of, went in the fucking fetal position for the rest of the series. It was embarrassing. So I do feel like you need to change it up. I still think LeBron goes back to LA. They could offer him the most money. He could play with Luka. Family's there, house is there. I just don't think he's getting $50 million.
If you look at LeBron's market on Polymarket, $100, if you put that on him going to the Cavaliers, you could win $288. That's the market right now. So
I'd be
So put 100 on it.
I'd be surprised.
I am
but-
going to,
Okay.
and then we'll see if it pans out.
All right.
The
Jared Allen for
numbers
LeBron.
might change because I'm gonna do it after the show, so the percentages might change. But that's something that I think is gonna happen out of left field,
Somebody has to make
and it's
a
not even because
deposit.
it's a great guesstimate. To me, it's just a vibes thing. And
Okay.
I think LeBron's going back to Cleveland final year, man, homecoming. He started his career there. The middle of his career was there. The ending will be there too.
Okay. That'd be fun for basketball.
I'll be hit. I'll be lit.
Next player up, Rui Hachimura.
LA.
I think he also resigns with LA. He's too important in the playoffs.
Sneaky player
This is a
for the.
Wolves.
For the Spurs.
The Bulls
They can't afford him.
No, they have a
Bulls
half
really
taxpayer
is
level
intriguing.
exception.
I get that they have a ton of wings. He's knocked down.
What team?
The
The
Bulls.
Bulls.
No, they just have a different timeline. It'd be a team that's trying to aggressively win now. that
You
would
think
probably
Rui's a
switch in.
win now player? I
Given
mean, I'm
his
not
age.
against not. I mean, listen, I think he could be a part of a win now team.
Yeah.
But
If you're a team that's rebuilding and you're looking to clear like playing time for your young talent, I don't know if you want to bring in Rui. To
I agree with you.
I'd be
away some
shocked
minutes.
if the Lakers let go of Rui. I think it's stamped.
You could
Even if
argue-
LeBron comes back, he's coming back.
Agreed. We'll find a way.
Next player, Kristaps Porzingis.
Ooh,
Tingus. I'm nuts.
I think he stays in Golden State.
Okay.
That's where my mind went first.
I'm going boring. I just
It's
think they can't lose him.
What's Porzingis' market realistically? Like, who is taking a shot on him?
the Warriors drafting Yaxel reinforced. They're still trying to maximize this window they have, and Porzingis is
That basically
invaluable
signed
if
it
you're
for you
trying to-
that Tingus is coming back.
They just
Makes
resigned.
Because I don't
total
hate it.
sense.
Yeah, it does
Yeah.
make a lot
They
of
just brought
sense.
back Horford, so bring back both.
Horford's 40 years old, literally. So can't start.
They
him.
just need one magical year. They need a Otto Porter
think.
outlier healthier for Porzingis,
Porzingis.
and I think they'll be
We
good.
don't need them.
I fear his time might have passed.
Next player, John Collins.
I'd San Antonio.
I like that before their draft. That was the first team I thought of that needed a
Okay.
power forward.
They still need a power forward though,
Yeah,
because who knows if Tyrese Reed and Jaden Quintana can play right away, especially with the injury. Collins makes them bigger.
to the Clippers. Excuse me, guys. I apologize. He could go back to the
For
Clippers.
sure.
In my scenario, I had LeBron going to the,
I don't want
Cavaliers.
John Collins.
so I got John Collins on the Lakers.
there you go. Don't worry,
John
Joe.
Collins and Rui on the Lakers?
Yes,
But no LeBron.
no LeBron.
I'm gonna vomit.
So John Collins, Jared Allen, Rui Hachimura, Reeves, and Luka, baby.
you want
I'm good
to?
off that.
No, what he's trying to do is ruin the Lakers.
Yeah. But why would you want to ruin Luka?
Because he wants him off the Lakers.
He's gonna be a Knick.
This is master plan.
Tobias Harris, I got him returned to the Pistons.
Me too.
I don't see any other team that would sign him, and I think that the Pistons
Need him.
They're not going to upgrade if they let him
They
go.
need him.
He's too important. I hope the Pistons add more than just him, but you have to bring him back.
Mitchell Robinson, I had the Lakers as the team as well. So
I also had the Lakers. I had LeBron not taking the huge
Brooklyn.
max.
Brooklyn can sign him,
Yeah.
especially after the Nick Claxton deal.
yeah, that's a team that has popped up. Like I said, in my scenario, LeBron doesn't go back to the Lakers.
Why
so-
are you building a dog shit team?
Well, it's Luka, Reeves, Rui, Collins, Allen, Mitchell Robinson. That's a lot of good
You know,
depth.
in that scenario, I forget that the Lakers get Jared Allen too.
It wouldn't be bad. You got
Still
two
not good.
centers, starting caliber who Luka can always throw lobs to.
It's not bad. It's just I need LeBron.
This is why I said they're screwed either way. Because this is like best case scenario.
Nikola Jokic.
Maybe even Lou Dort.
No, Nikola Jokic is best case scenario. Live in that world.
If Lou Dort they don't accept his option, Lou Dort's gonna go to the Lakers. That's
And
just my
I'm
prediction.
gonna be lit.
That would be
That's a
huge.
big pickup,
He's
bro.
actually very useful. 'Cause a lot of these teams that don't have a lot of cap space that really need a player like Lou Dort, like the Cavs, Lakers, they would benefit a lot from having him. I would say an underrated landing spot for Mitchell Robinson, not the Lakers, but the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Kind
actually
of
a
flu
spot.
player options,
Mhm.
create some cap space.
They do need a center.
If-
do they? But
if they decline Brook,
Mitch too.
If they decline Brook Lopez's player option, or if they literally don't have a center, so
Yeah.
desperately need him.
and if you have Brook Lopez, kind of barely have a center.
In my Lakers mock
Don't
offseason, don't do all the numbers and get into the nitty gritty, but my Lakers mock offseason is Jared Allen, Mitchell Robinson, John Collins, bringing back Rui, and bringing Lou Dort.
Okay.
That's their mock. That's honestly best case scenario, and I
Decent
still don't
team.
think that's a contender,
Think I'd
but
rather
it gives
have
them a better
LeBron.
chance. Mitchell Robinson, we all predicted where he's gonna go. I got the Lakers. Next player up, Quentin Grimes.
Miami.
I went with the Heat as well.
Okay. I went with the Rockets.
Miami probably needs a guard with more ball skills, but he showed glimpses of that in Philadelphia for the brief stretch that we saw, and maybe that could be tapped into, and he's
Yeah.
cost
I
effective.
have another guard going to Miami, but
Me too.
I've Quentin going to the Rockets. Add another ball handler, someone else who could create his own shot, someone else who could shoot. Getting Fred back, which is going to be huge. But obviously coming off a missed season, and of course you still have Reed Shepard there. But I still think they could use some more creation, just some more shooting.
The way I'm pissed off about super sidebar because Shams is reporting that 4 firsts for Jaylen Brown. That's what the Celtics have been asking for. Did you talk about on the last show how you guys have single-handedly ruined your team by not getting Giannis?
We
By-
talked
by
about it.
not-
Yeah.
okay.
Well, we talked about Jaylen Brown a lot.
But
Dude,
it should be more so highlighted how you
more. Of
ruined.
it, I'm not gonna lie. We didn't talk enough about what happens with Boston enough.
You have ruined your future,
I'm hoping he just comes back. I'll
and
be
you have to
honest.
hope and pray that Brad can be Brad,
Yeah.
which is it's realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have that discussion
And
later.
I
But yes,
apologize.
most of it was a Jaylen Brown debate.
Because that is the main thing for me. It's less to do about Jalen and more so to do with
I'm
the
with you.
ineptitude of them getting it done. Because your video was perfect, and it hurt me to hear it. You threw Jaylen Brown and waved it in the face, and it didn't work out, and now Jaylen Brown hates you.
More or less.
Like, that is so dumb. Quentin Grimes isn't a player that I'm like excited about. Like free agency. Like maybe the Pistons could use some depth
Bring him
there.
back after letting him go.
Like I could see Quentin Grimes going there. That's a decent location. But like for these teams that have money to spend and just like are trying to give it out just to bring players, like I don't think that that's the kind of player that you're looking for personally.
I think Grimes is going to take less money. He's going to have not the same arc, but he's going to have sort of like a Landry Shaman arc. He's not going to take the absolute minimum, but he's going to take a lower value contract to up his value more to bank in on another free agency class. Because right now, Quentin Grimes is coming off a bad playoff series. And he was very inconsistent with the Sixers. I think he wants to go somewhere where he has a chance to start. That's Miami. And he has a chance to make a big impact and play meaningful basketball. That's also Miami. That's why I think he'd be perfect there.
Miami's a good
Because
spot.
like, he is a good defender off ball, more so as a helper. As an on-ball point of attack defender, he struggles. But the Heat would have two of those in Davion and Wiggins. So he'd be able to have a little of a backseat role. And if he's your weakest defender in the starting five, I think you're in a good spot.
Yeah.
Anthony Simons, I had him going to the Mavericks.
I got Orlando.
I'm going to the Heat.
It feels as if the Heat, if they don't strike on one of
They
these
need to get one of the
guards,
two. Yeah.
it'll be a failure.
Yeah, I think Simons just brings you a bit more than Grimes when it comes to 3-point shooting, shot creation, athleticism,
Playmaking.
getting downhill. I think he's a better offensive player, but he's definitely a worse defensive player.
Young Anthony Simons playmaking was so good, man. I'm gonna say the Heat.
Next player, Norman Powell. I have the Pistons.
I had the Pistons.
I
as
think
well.
I also had the Pistons. Yeah.
Like a Clippers reunion is definitely in the back of my mind.
Even if they bring back Mathurin.
I understand. The Pistons need Norman Powell, but at the same time, I don't want that to be my big move if I'm the Pistons.
Me neither.
I'm caught because I don't think the Heat, obviously. It's either the Pistons or I find myself going to Chicago as well.
There's just not a lot of teams that require those services.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, if I'm on Chicago, I don't know if I want Norman
I don't
Powell
want
either.
Powell. If I'm Chicago now.
And now the last player is Robert Williams. I had a Celtics
I
reunion.
had Celtics too.
To
I
me,
had
the
Celtics,
Robert
too.
Williams is the perfect Laker for me because we can get him for cheap.
He would be a great pickup too. I'd Boston. I want to see it.
Boston makes a lot of sense.
Boston would be fun.
After talking about all these headliner free agent players, now we're going to talk about some under the radar guys. So, who are a couple under the radar free agents that we haven't mentioned that you think can make a big impact on a team if signed?
I'll start. Mamu. He's been really underrated, I think, for the Raptors the last couple of seasons. He's someone that could come off the bench, create some for himself, create some for others. Just long, versatile, 6'8", 6'9". He's not going to become, this crazy expensive free agent. So if a team like Miami wants to get involved, he'd be super affordable. I don't want to say he's been wasting away in Toronto, but I do feel like there's room for him to grow not only as a player, but also just as a contributor. I feel like there's a path for him to be like a pretty consistent guy that could get 20 to 25 minutes in this league. I have a couple others, but he was the first one that came to mind.
So, Sandro was on Toronto for 1 year. Before this, he was on San Antonio.
Yeah.
So, just to clear that up,
He was only in Toronto for 1 year?
yeah.
Oh, I thought it was
Yeah.
a couple of years.
Sandro, Mamu Kelly, I feel as if should go to Minnesota. The Timberwolves,
Julius Randle replacement?
it's more of a Nas Reed replacement.
Or Nas Reed, yeah.
I don't think that Mamu's the player that Nas Reed is, but Reed has some deficiencies. He's not the best rebounder. He's not the best defender. Mamu Kelly can fill most of that floor spacing stretch big role, and where if you want to, you have the versatility to now go into these 5-out lineups where you have LaMelo, Ant, McDaniels, Ayo, and then Mamu at the small ball 5. You're probably going to bleed a lot of value defensively, but it gives Minnesota an alternative, and it also gives them size if they want to go with LaMelo, Ant, McDaniels, Mamu, and Gobert. So I feel like if they're looking for somebody to be a stretch big, to have some more size on the team, Mamu's the best option because he won't be as expensive as John Collins, and they can probably get him in their tax exception with the cap that they have remaining.
Yeah, because he only signed for like a couple million when he went to Toronto.
No,
right?
he signed for nothing, dude. It was like $2 million. So Sandro Mamukelashvili, he averaged 11 points and 5 rebounds off the bench.
Yeah.
He was one of the
John
better
Cena.
6-mans in the NBA. I think that he's going to be a hell of a free agent pickup.
The biggest one for me is going to be Landry Shamet because getting shooters that can defend and can play in the postseason is more valuable than really ever before. And there are a lot of playoff teams that are missing that archetype of a player. Some other players to me were Tim Hardaway Jr. coming off a career year in Denver, the Jokic beneficiary. We see it every offseason where those players tend to get a big-time payday. And given Tim Hardaway Jr.'s age, it might be the last, it most likely will be the biggest and last one he gets after playing on a veteran minimum contract this last season. Last two players to me, Bones Highland, who is very good in Minnesota. I kind of just chalk him coming back to the Wolves because of how vital he'll be in the event LaMelo misses time. And one last sleeper to me would be Tyus Jones because before Orlando, he had some very good years, decent shooter. And in the limited opportunities he got from the Nuggets, he was pretty solid. And I feel he could still be a quality backup and a rotational caliber guard for a couple of different teams.
Well, the one that stands out to me is Julian Champagnie. Like the fact that he is coming off the postseason run that he did and now gets to become a free agent. He's definitely going to draw some suitors. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, him being a free agent, I understand that he's on the end of his tenure in the NBA. 33 years old, though, can be a contributor off the bench for a team. And if I had to go shot in the dark, Jalen Clark. I see a guy in Jordan Goodwin who has made himself a respectable and now paid NBA role player. And it was due to kind of fighting to be there and staying there and finding a new identity. I'm being a defender. And Jalen Clark is a really strong defender. Obviously doesn't have that offensive upside, but still young, 24 years old, going to have an opportunity to go to the team and just be a role player off the bench and somebody that's going to sign for very little dollar and could be a contributor off a bench.
He was the Shea stopper at one point.
Never
Yeah,
forget.
That was a moment in time.
He'll be back in Minnesota. Don't worry about it. We didn't mention these free agents. They're like in a mix of like sleeper and not sleeper. Colin Sexton, just think some punch off the bench. Lou Dort probably should have been in the mainstay of guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then Luke Kennard, just the season he had with the Lakers, one of the best three-point shooters. I'm expecting him to be back in LA, though, if I'm being honest. Really, to me, the sleepers, the true ones, are the two bigs. You mentioned Sandro Mamukelashvili. It's also Dean Wade. Dean Wade is very vital to the Cavaliers' success, especially in the postseason. We saw that. At times, offensively, he can be a negative because he can't shoot consistently on open jumpers. But defensively, the Cavaliers' best playoff lineups often featured him in the lineup. So if you're a team that is looking for some more size, like I said again, like Minnesota, if they can sign both, I think it'd be a home run. They probably won't be able to. It'll probably be one of the two. But any team that needs some more size, some defensive versatility, some shooting, I think Dean Wade's a perfect fit. Dean Wade was overtasked in his role where he is the best perimeter defender on Cleveland, where if he goes to another situation, he'll be like at best a fourth or fifth best defender. Like him in Miami would make a lot of sense, and it would make them an even better defensive team.
Part of the issue with him is just the shooting, because he was always hyped up to be a shooter, and this last postseason, for whatever reason, he just wasn't taking them. There are a few other players that could be very relevant in this discussion to me, because the Heat, to me, I believe, are just going to go out and take a couple of door throws on veteran minimum contracts. Chris Middleton, Simeon Fontecchio reunion, and then one player via trade who's got 1 year left in his contract. I would not be surprised if they try to trade either Nikola Jovic or Bobby Portis or Klay Thompson, because shooting is going to be a necessity for this lineup, and Klay Thompson at 36 can still bring it in, a very high volume.
You take a flyer on Bradley Beal or no way?
It'd be worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, though, the Clippers, that's what they did, and he missed an entire season. I don't know. I'm kind of out. I'm out of the Bradley Beal business.
I don't think you have to start him. Do you have to start him?
If you want a 1 year veteran, nothing,
That's
try
what I
out.
mean, like,
you know what I mean?
If he
Make
goes
him
out there,
$5.5 million.
you sign him on a vet deal, and he's killing the second team in the best case scenario, of course. I mean, I feel like that's a decent reward.
I see Bradley Beal get flashbacks.
But you're right, though, about Miami. Miami's entire free agent philosophy is going to be dart throws on minimum contracts.
All they got, really.
Yeah, that's all they have. They have Wiggins re-signing him, and they have room for one more mid-level exception contract, and then after that, everything has to be straight minimums.
Yeah.
So they can sign Wiggins back and maybe get a Grimes or a Simons at a good bargain deal. They're probably going to lose Norman Powell, and then everything else is minimums. I don't know. Now that you mentioned Landry Shamet, for what he showed me in the playoffs, it's going to sound crazy, but he might be just as valuable as contractually Simons or Grimes. I think Shamet is going to get a 3-year, $30 million contract.
I mean, the run he went on, he deserves it.
For 2 years.
He could defend, he could shoot, all those things for me. That's why I think that Landry Shamet, that was a great name. That was a great sleeper. Because of the Giannis to Miami move, we have a King of the Hill NBA front court edition.
Let's do it.
And we'll see who comes out on top. First front court, Cameron Boozer and Zach Edey against Caleb Wilson and Nick Claxton.
Ooh.
Give
I'll
me
go
the
Boozer
Grizz.
and Edey. Yeah.
I'm going Memphis come higher on Edey than Claxton moving forward.
Boozer and Edey or Tobias and Duren.
Give me the Grizz.
Memphis.
I think that's closer. I'd probably lean Memphis.
Boozer and Edey or Scotty Barnes and CMB.
Scotty and
Barnes,
CMB.
CMB.
Scotty and CMB or Jalen Johnson and Onyeka.
Taking Toronto.
Taking Toronto as well.
Toronto.
Scotty and CMB or Paolo and Wendell.
Taking Toronto.
Taking Toronto.
Yeah, I'm very high on Colin Murray-Boyles long term. His defensive potential is so high, and I can see him being a better player than Wendell this year. I'll go with Toronto.
Scotty's also
You said-
better than
yeah, I was
Paulo.
gonna say,
You just gonna,
Scotty Paulo.
No comment.
Scotty and
Hold on.
CMB.
No, let's get a comment. You think Paulo is as good as Scotty?
No, I just played the fifth.
I respect that.
Okay.
I respect that.
Respect.
I
He knows-
respect
he knows the
fuck out of
answer.
that.
All right, next matchup up. Scotty and CMB or Jaren Jackson Jr. and Kessler.
Right now, Utah. Long term, Toronto.
Scotty's
I'm
probably the
gonna
best
take
player.
Toronto.
I think I would take Toronto too.
People sleep on Kessler a lot.
I get it.
Yeah.
He also didn't play last year.
I just don't love Jared.
So you're taking Toronto, you're taking
I can
Toronto.
understand
You know
that.
what I mean? Yeah, I'm taking Toronto.
We have 2 for Toronto.
Yeah.
They move on. Toronto, Scotty and CMB or Josh Hart and Cat.
I'm taking Toronto.
I was thinking of maybe putting OG as the
It was-
front court.
It wouldn't have
then
been
it would have
fair.
been the Knicks.
Yes, exactly.
Well, you should have, because King of the Hill.
Yeah, but I also thought that Josh Hart was a starting power forward.
Well, are
he-
you
he
about to
was.
put
Oh,
Bam and Giannis in this?
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna put Bam and Giannis in this, you should have put OG.
Well, you could put OG in because you left out Pirtle for the Raptors. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I did. But do you think that OG is more of a front court pairing with Cat, though?
Yes.
I mean,
Because
it's
he be
probably
guarding
hard.
the perimeter.
Yeah,
That's why.
it's hard more than OG.
Yeah, like CMB plays a lot of small ball 5.
he
but-
does. No, okay.
Yeah.
That's tough. I think I would lean Toronto.
I'll go with the Knicks. But long term, CMB in 3 years with Scotty, that's just going to be a top 3 or 4 front court in my opinion.
Raptors and Knicks.
Toronto.
Raptors move on. Scotty and CMB or Alex Sarr and Anthony Davis.
How many games does Anthony Davis play?
For next year, give me CMB and Scotty, man. I just don't know what I'm getting with AD. It's just a mystery box.
I mean, him and Sarr last year played a combined 70 games. If Anthony
Oh,
Davis is
yes.
playing basketball and he's a top 20
Yes.
player in the NBA at minimum,
Correct.
it's Washington. But there's a very good chance he plays 42 games.
If AD
next year.
plays, it is Washington. Since I don't
And
know,
if he doesn't,
I'm going Toronto.
it's Toronto.
Toronto moves on.
Toronto.
Scotty and CMB or Siakam and Zubats.
Siakam and Zubac.
Oh,
Yeah, Siakam and Zubac.
Indiana.
Siakam and Zubats or Chet and Hartenstein.
Chet and Hartenstein.
I don't know, bro. I might go with the Pacers. And I don't want to be reactionary, but it is me being reactionary.
Siakam's better than Chet.
Yeah, I mean Siakam 2 years ago was fucking.
Were you saying that
was awesome in the
before
playoffs.
like the
You know,
Conference
I've never
Finals.
been a Chet stan, and I've always been a Siakam supporter.
And Zubats is better than Hartenstein.
He is.
So it's really, if you think Siakam is better than Chet, then it is Indiana.
I have always been a Siakam guy. Always.
Yeah, I mean
You've
Chet's
always been a Siakam
defensively.
dude, I agree.
It's that they're close. Chet defensively is, I think, what sets them apart. But
It's true.
if his offensive game is gonna look so fucking ugly, it's like you can only take so much. I lean Pacers.
Only one of them is an Eastern Conference
Not wrong.
True.
MVP.
Not
If you're
wrong.
getting 2025 Zubats, Pacers.
Yeah.
Siakam and Zubats or KD and Şengün.
I'll take Katie and
Yeah.
Sengun.
Yeah.
Katie and Sengun.
Houston.
I thought about putting Jabari here.
For
For the
Sengun?
Houston's
Okay.
front court. But KD plays the 4 too, so it's
Yeah.
weird. They're just a weird team.
You would have Sengun. Yeah, they would have got cut.
You should have put OG on here.
I should have.
The Knicks would be running.
They probably would.
Mhm.
So you do think that KD and Şengün are over Siakam and Zubats?
I do.
You don't think it's more of a conversation?
I think it is. I just feel really good about KD.
Sengun played exceedingly well outside of the first game. First game? Yes.
I'm just going to choose not
First
to think
two.
about what he did in the playoffs.
All right,
Sengun ended the series versus us pretty well, though.
he did.
I just
Next
don't wanna-
matchup up:
I get it.
KD and Şengün or Gordon and Jokic.
Gordon Jokic.
Gordon Jokic.
Easily.
Gordon and Jokic or Champagny and Wemby.
Gordon Jokic.
Gordon Jokic.
That's what we're doing?
They don't have a power forward.
They don't. That's why they need John Collins.
He's their starting four.
Yuck. I'm taking Spurs.
this guy.
Okay, so the Nuggets move on. Gordon and Jokic or Mobley and Allen.
Gordon Jokic.
Gordon Jokic.
Yeah, this is my king of the hill, personally.
And for the King of the Hill, is it Gordon and Jokic or Giannis and Bam?
I know I should say Giannis and Bam.
I don't think you should. I think it's Gordon and Jokic.
Gordon and Jokic won a chip together.
You think they're a better front court than Giannis and Bam, though?
Probably not.
So both
Probably
these
not.
duos have durability concerns with Gordon and Giannis, but the fit between Jokic and Gordon is seamless with Gordon in the dunker spot and the playmaking, particularly with Jokic's connection with them, and they've actually played together and won a championship,
Yes.
whereas this Heat duo has not. Maybe they can be a contending caliber team, but for those reasons I laid out, I'm going with the Nuggets.
Cook.
But the Miami, though, I mean, Giannis is just as good as Jokic, and Bam is way better than Gordon.
I have a question. What do you think's a better fit? Giannis and Bam or Giannis and Tatum?
Giannis and Tatum.
Okay. Just curious. We don't have to go into it.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, what's a better fit?
Giannis and Tatum.
You're glazing now.
We got into a bit of a debate about it last episode.
I'm glazing Tatum.
No, I said that Bam and Giannis fit, maybe not, but like the defensive talent, I think Bam's just a better defender than Tatum is.
No, I said I
But-
think Giannis and Bam's a better duo because Giannis offensively doesn't have to take less on-ball reps for Tatum. I know Tatum could play off the ball, but the fact that he can exclusively be on the ball and their initiator, it's going to take away less from his offensive
That's a good
game.
point.
And I said there is no offensive fit with Bam and Giannis.
I also argue that Bam low-key does take the responsibility on ball as well, too.
It just won't be as much as Tatum.
But that's
Like,
good point.
Tatum and Giannis, it'd be more like a 50-50 split,
I think
maybe
I just-
60-40.
I just think Tatum's just such a overwhelmingly better player.
No, yeah, he's a better player for sure. He's an
Close.
amazing player
But that's why I use the word overwhelmingly.
Yeah, it's not.
who just
close.
who's about to lose his co-star. So
Maybe,
we'll
man.
see.
I hope
I
not.
hope not.
Bro, I really hope not.
Hope not.
Please?
Please don't send me any more Trey Murphy packages.
So here's the thing,
I'm
though.
begging.
I don't understand
Begging, actually.
what's the big deal. Maybe Jaylen Brown is really hurt by this, but I do think that he should understand that it's Giannis. They scoured the market. It didn't pan out. Get ready for next season. The Celtics' best pathway to contention is with Jaylen Brown on the roster. All of these trade packages that you see for Jaylen Brown floated around, they just don't make the Celtics better next season. They have a better chance to win a championship if Jaylen Brown stays on the roster and they just get center help. All you got to do is bring in some centers, not even at big contracts, mid-level exceptions, some minimum centers, maybe a reunion with Robert Williams. And I think the Celtics are in good shape. I like the Chris Nack Jr. draft pick. I think he can develop into a good player. They obviously can't just rely on a rookie. But the Celtics aren't far away from contention. If they trade Jaylen Brown, I think they will make themselves further away.
It's scary, man, because I think this is coming from Boston's side, not Jalen's side. I feel like what Brad said after the NBA drafts, all of the reports are out there. Everything seems like Boston wants to trade Jaylen Brown. If it was Jaylen Brown's pissed off at the organization, he wants out, that's a different conversation. Because at some point, if a guy doesn't want to be there, what are you supposed to do? But this, to me, feels more like the organization is making a decision that, for whatever reason, whether it's because of the salary cap, whether it's because of how the roster currently looks, they think it seems like they will be better without Jaylen Brown. And you're hearing some of the offers come in. It seems like they want some younger players, some draft picks. I don't know the logic. Is the logic to get some of these assets and younger players and flip them for a star? Is it to go into a rebuild when you have Derek White at 30, Tatum at 27, 28, Pritchard at 27? Like, your team is ready to win now. And you just showed last year without Tatum, you can win now. So to trade Jaylen Brown into this rebuilding like package doesn't really make any sense. And the longer this goes out there, it feels like the worse it's just going to get. You know what I mean? From the NBA draft where Shams goes up there and saying that Boston is actively taking and receiving calls on Jaylen Brown, to even multiple days after the draft saying that he's here in packages of 4 first-round picks. It's just been basically a week straight since the Giannis trade that it's like, no, this isn't just for Giannis. This is out there, and we're trying to change this team. I've seen a lot of packages out there. The only one that's like somewhat can you see it happening is Evan Mobley, like an Evan Mobley for Jaylen Brown swap. Why would Cleveland do that though? I don't really understand. Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, and Jaylen Brown is a weird combination of players. And why would you give up on Evan Mobley instead of trading Jared Allen to try to find that wing?
Kind of sounds hot.
I just think the fit's a little weird. So that's the only one that I've seen where it's like, if this happened, I'd be like, okay, I could see the vision. But other than that, I've seen Trey Murphy packages. I'm good. I've seen Scoot Henderson and fucking Jeremy Grant packages, I'm good off that. I've seen I've seen so many packages that make the Celtics worse. That unless there's something out there that Brad's cooking up, I don't know how, like you said, Joel, it makes Boston better for next year. And if you're not getting better, you have to keep Jalen. The last thing I'll mention is just he is eligible for an extension. I want to say either this offseason or next offseason, where he could sign 2 years, 140, I want to say. So he get an additional, $70 million per year on top of the $300 million contract he signed a few seasons ago. So if Boston is hesitant to extend him there, then I could see potentially moving off of him. But you're still in a window right now to compete. I know New York just ran through the playoffs and you went out in embarrassing fashion, but you got to think like a year and a half ago, who thought we'd be in this position where the Knicks look like they got everything figured out and Boston's down to shit. It's 1 year could change so much. So I don't want to go.
Doesn't feel so good being on the other side.
No, it feels terrible. It feels awful.
I will say though, bro.
Yeah,
No, say it. Say it to him. Larry.
Not even that, but like, bro, if the Pelicans are offering Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, and I can swindle Yves Missi from New Orleans, I would trade Jaylen Brown. I would get Herb Jones, Murphy, and Missi for just Brown.
I haven't seen Missi involved too, but I mean, like, I get it. You're adding 2 starting caliber players to this team. Herb Jones, a great defender.
Injury
Trey
prone.
Murphy has a lot of offensive upside.
It's a bad trade.
Yeah,
But
not
it's
worth
still
it.
It's a
like-
bad
I think
trade.
it's a bad trade for Boston. I feel like it gives them a long-term player at center who can develop into the starting center. Herb Jones, a lockdown defender if healthy, and Trey Murphy, a 20-point per game scorer who can space the floor
Don't you
out
think you
and
need a
take
number
threes
2?
at volume. Nah, he can't be number 2.
No, I'm saying, but you need a number 2 at some point to like contend championship.
I guess so.
It's a bad trade.
What do you mean you guess
It's a
so?
bad
We've
trade.
seen the NBA is all about
The
depth.
the Celtics are
You could be top heavy.
shockingly. They're shocking me with how dysfunctional they're being.
Yeah.
This has been an organization for the last, let's go decade at this point, damn near, since Jason Tatum was drafted, since Jaylen Brown was drafted, since making the trade for getting rid of Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett, that all they've done in that time has been great move after great move. At least that's what it's come out to be.
They've gotten very lucky.
Agreed.
The Nets trade?
Fine. Let's call it luck.
Yeah,
That's not my sentiment.
multiple times. Yeah,
My
so really the
sentiment
next
is
trade they got lucky.
This is
Also trade down from 1 to 3, got Tatum the best player in the class.
You got lucky.
lucky, or is that scouting?
I mean, it's both.
it's not lucky. They finessed. They absolutely finessed. That being said, this is an organization that has hit more often than not in the last decade plus. And for the fact that they have mishandled a superstar in Jaylen Brown the way that they have after the season that he just had, to now you're putting yourself in a position to be worse, to lose him. It's just shocking. I don't know. This is a guy that helped you win your first championship since 08. I just don't understand how you could treat a player that
Oh man,
has helped you reach the mountaintop like this.
It's just
I get it. It's Giannis. I'm sorry for
Giannis
talking.
is cool.
It's Giannis.
Giannis is. I'm not mad at it
I'm
at
not.
all. That it's
I'm
Giannis.
not.
that's why I don't think that this should be this big of a deal. But it seems like, I think the report that probably broke the camel's back was the fact that they were still shopping Jaylen
That's
Brown.
what I'm saying. Stop.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Stop.
If you could get KD in 22, cool. If you could get Giannis, cool. If you could get guys that are top 5 players in the world, cool. You're trading for Trey Murphy. That's a significant downgrade
The
for
thing
the
is,
issues Jaylen Brown even has.
with Boston is
Painful.
Jaylen Brown, to me, I don't think he's the most perfect player. I think one of his biggest flaws is the fact that he assists as much as he turns over the ball. So sometimes that can bleed a lot of value in the inconsistency on defense. But when he's locked in, I don't think he gets the credit that he should get. And he doesn't get the credit he should have gotten for most of the Celtics' success. I believe that he was a big pillar in that. And now we see in a scenario in where the Celtics might lose him, now everybody starts realizing how valuable he is. When we start throwing out trade packages and you start looking at your screen and saying, hell no, why would the Celtics do this? That in turn proves how valuable he has been to this team and why trading him could be a massive mistake. And last episode, me and Riv got into a debate, and Riv was very anti Jaylen Brown, which is fine. But I want to make something clear in the fact that double team percentage numbers aren't available to the public as much as I'd like them to be. But All NBA City podcast, which is hosted by Tim Legler, he's one of the hosts of the show. a quarter nearing the halfway point of the season, they put out a graphic of the most double team players in the league by percentage. Jaylen Brown was top 5. I just want to discount the notion or disassociate the notion that Jaylen Brown doesn't face double teams and he's just going one-on-one all the time. He was a top 5 double team player last season. What you can nitpick is the processing out of those double teams, in which I think limits his offensive ceiling. But overall, even if you're getting, like we said, a package of a center, a 20-point per game scorer, and a lockdown defender, and even first, that might not be enough for Jaylen Brown. It just goes to show that one thing cannot function with the other. Jason Tatum and the Celtics being a championship team, it cannot function without Jaylen Brown being there. And he's an essential part of this.
They make it seem like Jaylen Brown's the only player in the NBA that's struggling on a double team.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards is better than Jaylen Brown. Anthony Edwards struggles with doubles at times. The best players struggle with doubles. It happens. It's hard. It's 2 NBA players coming at you at once. Unless you are an elite playmaker, which there are very few in the league. I think I can count them on my head how many elite how many elite playmakers there are that are just truly great out of a double team. His best ability is scoring the basketball. He is a 2 guard. He is not a playmaker. He does not claim to be one. He is a scorer. He is a scoring guard / forward, whatever you want to say he is. Why are we faulting him for not being more than what he actually is? When what he is a 28 point per game player who, when needed, an amazing defender.
The spark notes was that Riv was basically highlighting that Tatum sees way more defensive looks and coverages than JB, who gets the benefit of being a 2.
That's just, it takes the point and throws it in the trash.
Well, I think he was saying when they're both on the court together,
okay,
defenses are going to gravitate towards Tatum.
That being said, this past season takes that and throws it in the trash. What was your offensive rating?
It was like top 5 in the league.
So you clearly can have an efficient offense with Jaylen Brown as your 1 while not being the best playmaker by any stretch of the imagination.
If Brown gets traded, I do want to see him in a winning situation. Like, I wouldn't want to see him with the Pelicans. The Blazers even. I'm really not a fan of that either.
I'm intrigued by that solely because that's an ascending young team that has good defensive pieces.
They just be
and they just need a real 1. And that could be Jaylen Brown.
Where would he go? What's an ideal situation
Atlanta.
for Jaylen Brown?
I said that and got
Atlanta is the best situation.
You got
for Jaylen
Dookie
Brown.
on for it?
I got a unhappy, discontented response
By who?
by River Brown.
I mean, River Brown does not
When
like
he said
Jaylen
Atlanta.
Brown.
Yeah, I was laughing.
What's the package for Atlanta, though?
Alexander Walker has to be in it.
Yes.
That's unfortunate, but it has to happen.
You
Onyeka?
really Onyeka you can't because you need a
Yeah.
center. They need a center, so it can't be Onyeka. It would honestly have to be a package center
5
around
first.
Dyson, Alexander Walker, and then
mad draft capital.
that's it.
It's like, Boston, what are we doing?
That's
I mean?
it.
Like, what do you...
Unless
You guys
Atlanta
fucked
goes
it,
all
bro.
There's a part of me that still believes that it's going to smooth over and Jaylen Brown's going to come home
That's
and
the only
everything's
way I
going
would
to be
treat it,
okay.
truthfully.
Because, yeah, there's no... Again, unless there's some trade out there that we are not thinking of that brings a top 20 player back to Boston that you could feel confident in being a number 2 offensively while also giving you, defense where off ball or on ball, some sort of defensive, appearance or effort or something, because Jaylen Brown with his false off ball, we know how great he can be when he's locked in on ball. It's hard to find that. And to think that you're going to ask Trey Murphy and Herb Jones, who are really good players, to go from a situation in New Orleans to all of a sudden you're in Boston now and you have championship level pressure. And Herb Jones, if you're shooting 31% from 3, they're going to say to bench your ass. And Trey Murphy, if you're getting cooked on defense, they're going to say bench your ass. It's a lot of pressure that Jaylen Brown, year in and year out what you're going to get from him.
Would you do Jamal Murray and Christian Brown for Jaylen Brown?
No.
I mean,
Try my best.
That's not terrible.
the thing is that Jaylen Brown he's in a mix of where he's not one of the top players, but he is a top player. Trading what Boston wants to get Jaylen Brown, it completely lessens the quality of your roster. Atlanta is a great situation if you just plop Jaylen Brown onto the team. But once you start talking about, they might lose Walker, Boston's going to want Onyeka. You might also lose Dyson. and then you just plug in Jaylen Brown to that
All
situation.
of a sudden,
It's
CJ
less ideal.
And yeah, Jalen Johnson, and the roster's not complete. Listen, until he's off the team, I still think they either keep him or there's a package out there that's really good. I don't think Brad's just going to give him up just to give him up.
Nah, he's not good enough to trade the house for him, but he is good enough to trade a good amount where I think the Celtics, they could get multiple quality players and a lot of picks.
There used to be a time where you drafted a franchise player and he stayed with your franchise till he decided to call it quits.
You and far between these days, man.
There used to be a time where that used to happen. And there used to be a time where you didn't just do it once, you did it twice. And these two players, for the rest of their careers, stayed together and made shit pop. That used to be real.
Grass isn't always greener.
And here's the thing.
Wait, who though?
There used to be a time. Karl Malone, John Stockton.
That's the only time though, brother.
Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan.
He went to Portland.
After they were
Houston.
done.
Yeah.
After they were done.
He retired.
Because Phil
Houston,
Jackson
Portland.
called it quits. They were together for
Michael
over a
Jordan
decade.
called it quits too, though.
That's what I'm saying.
But most of the top duos though, like Chris Paul and Harden is only 2 years. Luka and Kyrie is only 1 year. Kyrie and LeBron was only 3-4 seasons. Dwayne Wade and LeBron, not that long either. Most of these top duos, it's rare to stay that long because egos get in the way. I think Jaylen Brown, he wants to prove more. That's what I think this is about.
Egos is definitely at the forefront of things. He proved it. He proved it. He proved it. I could be a top seed in the Eastern Conference. I can be an all-NBA player. I can average top 5 in points?
That's the thing, though, is that what Jaylen Brown did this season, if he was on Charlotte, he'd get a statue. But he's in Boston.
And the miserable fans.
The regular season
Respectfully.
doesn't matter.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
You guys are fucking miserable.
I
What do
mean-
you want him to do? Invent basketball again?
At the
No,
forefront of
but
Jaylen Brown
I
is the
think a lot of
3-1
fan
lead
bases
this
would be
year.
upset with how the season ended. You know what I mean?
Agreed. If
Regardless.
my best player came back and, albeit he was awesome. He was
It
awesome.
was great when he played.
Hate the air quotes, I really do.
He comes back and now he's 3-1. We lose back-to-back games and now he's unavailable for game 7. I go out on my sword. I really do hashtag all I could.
Second half, yes.
Oh, fuck you. It's a game of runs.
I know, but it was so bad the first half.
God
We
forbid
can't just
Derek
throw it
White
away.
fucking did some shit in the second
Derek
half
White,
too.
Derek White's not without blame. He's for sure for blame.
But he's
He
the
was
guy that
fucking
you got to
awful.
blame the most. Him and the centers, they got the biggest
If
blame.
you're making shit pop, it's Derek White fucking leaving. If you want to trade for a Herb Jones or a Trey Murphy, cool. Derek White has to leave. I'm not trading fucking Jaylen
And I'll be
Brown.
honest,
Brown is
an
untouchable. I'm sorry.
Yeah, unless
an
you're getting
ideal
fucking
spot
Giannis.
for Derek White, who I think would actually fit the core that this team has too, is Charlotte. I think Derek White and Charlotte would complete
That'd be a
their
great
trio
pickup for
just
them.
because he could play defense. I don't
Still
know what the
need-
ceiling
still need,
is,
like a playmaker, but yeah.
but he could play make too. Not as good,
Yeah.
obviously, as Lamelo.
It's just
but
like it's still kind of average. level.
Miami could get him?
Nah, he's making too much money,
Okay.
and we wouldn't give him. We wouldn't give Miami him. You know what I mean? What the fuck are they gonna give us?
That's a good point.
there's a long wait in between the next championship, bro.
Who?
The Celtics.
I mean, yeah, it was 16 years. Hopefully it's not another 16. I need Tatum to get one more, man. If I get 2, I'll be cool.
It's 22 years between the 80s and 2008.
Yeah, well, I wasn't live.
Lifetime.
I mean,
You know, it's a long time. You don't know when's the next time you're gonna see one.
no,
Yeah.
I don't. Nobody does. We don't know if we're gonna see it tomorrow.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
At least you
True.
saw one, man.
I'm taking that to the fucking grave.
As a grown man, you saw
It
one.
was awesome. I wish I could relive it every day.
You have it on your phone. Technically,
Yeah,
you could.
I do.
So shout out to the Patreon members because on Patreon I decided to ask some questions to our members or ask them to ask us some questions.
Give me solid, Johnny.
So there's not going to be much, but there's going to be some. Jaron Rentz goes, was having barbershop basketball talks the other day and someone said Jimmy Butler was a superstar during the bubble year. Was wondering what y'all thought about that.
They're right.
John,
just-
can you put my phone on the charger?
I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted, bro. I'm sorry.
He was definitely a superstar in the bubble. The Game 5 is all-time go out on your sword moment.
Yeah. I mean, Jimmy was superstar in the bubble. He was superstar in the 23 playoff run.
And 20... Yes, 22.
Yeah, 22. He was
It's a
awesome, too.
shame that Bam was injured for half the finals and Goran didn't play either. I
Yeah.
would have been more competitive.
But yeah. I wasn't
probably
rooting
aren't
for either
looking
of
at a
those
Lakers
games.
championship if that's the case.
You think we lose?
Nah, I don't think you lose.
I was gonna say because we were a Danny Green wide open missed 3 away from shutting it down in 5. So I take winning in 6.
Mr. Corona goes, who do we think is the next big name player to get traded this offseason?
I hope it's not Jaylen Brown, but Jaylen Brown would be the betting favorite, I'd guess.
Apparently, you think LeBron James.
Yeah, I think LeBron's going to Cleveland.
Jaylen Brown, LeBron, Duran, Jared Allen.
I'm gonna workshop.
Is there any surprise ones out there who's your surprise trade?
Kyrie.
Kyrie, that's a good one, John.
I think Jaylen Brown is the most likely one, just because of all the rumors we've heard as of recently. So I would go with Jaylen Brown. I'll go with the easy cop out.
What about Denny Advia?
I don't think he's going anywhere. He's not really a player that anybody wants. He's just good where he's at. Portland.
Okay.
They've embraced him.
Maybe RJ?
Barrett?
Maybe RJ? I'm just trying to think of teams that feel like they need to make a move to
We
kind
said
of
big
level up.
name.
Yeah, we're talking about stars, bro.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Who'd you just say? You said Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown.
Well, I said Jalen Duran before, and no one said anything, so I thought it was
He's
valid.
a star.
It's an All-NBA.
In the regular
Oh,
season.
God.
All-NBA.
Nadir
We're
Page
throwing star around
goes,
for anything.
just graduated from Rutgers. Shout out to
Shout
Rutgers.
out.
Shout out to
Let's
Jersey.
Go.
This past May. Been watching y'all since senior year of high school. Crazy. It's been that long.
Awesome.
Been cool watching each of you grow. Love sports. Love what y'all do as a group. 2 questions if you got time. Number 1, how do y'all find the motivation to keep making videos while working jobs too? That balance seems draining. Curious how you push through it.
Because I want it. I want this. I want to be the best version of Andrew Velez. And by being here the same day I have work, in my mind, I'm doing that. As long as I can put my head on that pillow at night, say I gave it my all, I'm cool with that.
Once you do it for a while too, like obviously we've been doing this. I mean, I've been doing it for 5 years at this point. It just becomes so routine that it's like anything else. It's like waking up for work. It's like going to the podcast, it's like going to the gym. It's just something you do. You feel like you have to do it. You're required to do it. So it's part of its motivation, but you've used in the past motivation versus discipline where, I mean, all of us, we hit the group chat like, yo, what's going on? There's never a day goes by or a week goes by that we're not in the group chat, not planning the next recording. We don't go a week without talking to each other. So part of it's just accountability for all of us. We get together. We know we have to record 2 to 3 times a week.
At least one person goes and like, yo, what's going on?
Yeah, at some point.
least one
it's
person.
like 3, 4 p.m. No one said nothing. Like, yo, hello? Unless it's like the day after we record. Like, if it's the day after, we know we're not recording. Maybe we're not saying much, but we're always figuring out when we got to record
That
next.
is easily my most texted in group chat, not maybe like my immediate friends.
Yeah. And when, like once we get to this part, this level, it's like we have sponsors. We have things we have to get done. We have deliverables we have to get to. So we don't get that done, we don't get paid. That's pretty good motivation too.
Yeah, for me, it's not really motivation. I guess it's partly faith and family and kind of just believing in something that's bigger than me and being a part of something. It's a blessing where you're in a group of collective people that all have a shared goal. And then the other thing too is just having perspective. Like, it's a blessing to be able to do this, and I think it's something that it's hard to take for granted because of how lucky we are to have this platform. And so it's to do the absolute best that we can with it.
You have to think of your life like a video game.
Here we go.
Nobody can pick up the remote for you. You have to play it yourself.
Okay. No one's coming to save
So you
you.
got to think of your life like you're the main character. You're holding the remote, and you have to get it done. You got to be the
People-
one to control your life.
People that have main character syndrome, I get it.
Why wouldn't you be the main character?
Exactly. This is your life.
You have
The
main
second
characters in
question is,
Sure.
if you were starting from today, no platform, no following, how would you actually build an audience? And what kept you
I'm sorry.
from giving up
This
early
question
on?
needs respect. Can you repeat it?
The question is, if you were starting from 0 today, no platform, no following, how would you actually build an audience? And what kept you from giving up early on?
I would go out and find a Joel Moran. That's what I would do. I would go out and find Joel Moran, and then I would figure it out after that.
Yeah, I'll put you guys on some free games. So you got to post on TikTok. That's what you got to do. You got to post at minimum. I'm not going to lie. I've been slacking myself. But like you said, if you're trying to start from ground zero, you got to post on TikTok 3 times a day at minimum. 3 times a day. And if breaking news happens, you have to record a video as soon as it happens, and you need to post it. That's number 1. If you want to get into YouTube, you have to have a consistent workflow. You have to have an idea around your YouTube channel. So if you have an NBA YouTube channel, you need to be the person to react to news. Like, so for example, this past week was the NBA draft. So the NBA draft, you should have recorded a video on who won and lost the NBA draft. You should have probably recorded your reaction to all the picks that happened and then posted it. You just got to do relevant things. The Lamelo Ball trade happened. That's a reaction in itself. So you got to find just what you want to be good at. You can be a reactor, you can be an analysis, but you have to just have a workflow. So even if it's just posting or recording a couple of videos on YouTube a week, you have to have that workflow and then have the short form video backing behind it. So you make your full form video, and then if you're making a video that's like 10 minutes long, you can clip up maybe 3 to 4 moments from that 10-minute video if you do it correctly, and that could go on short form platforms. So I would just say, like, just building a platform in general, YouTube is probably the hardest because it requires the most like thought and creativity. But TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you could build that just off of reacting. But you need to be consistent with like how you react to news and stuff.
And also, you don't have to go crazy. I feel like we get questions all the time, like in our DMs and stuff, people asking what mics do you use, what cameras do you use, what lighting do you use. Especially when you're starting out, don't invest thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, because 99% of people do it for a month and then give up. So a lot of the stuff now, especially with TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, it's like put your phone up, press record, do that for a month. If you're able to gain traction, then you could start investing in mics and lighting and stuff like that if you want. But majority of people get too caught up in trying to figure out, I need X, Y, and Z for this to look professional. When you're at zero, like just if you're able, like Joel said, just get into the workflow, get into the routine, figure out, what hooks work, figure out how to caption stuff. Once you get that figured out, all of the cosmetics and stuff is just going to enhance it. But you need to have that base work and groundwork for it.
Some free game.
Yeah, no, like there's a creator that I really like. He transitioned to YouTube wonderfully. You guys probably know him too. He was a big on TikTok. His name is Joe Bartolozzi.
Yeah.
Something like that. I hope I'm saying this last name
He's from Jersey.
right. Yeah, he is. I hope I'm saying this
Beanie
last
guy?
name right.
Where's Beanies?
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
He does.
Mm-hmm.
His entire TikTok following was built off of him reacting to videos on the internet. Just the video would play, and then he'd pause it where whatever crazy happened, and then he'd talk. And that's just him using a green screen filter on TikTok and reacting to it and being funny.
Oh, yes.
And
this guy.
And now has a YouTube channel.
He's got 5 million subs.
Yeah, no, has 5 million subs, and
multiple
he
channels.
reacts. But his start was on TikTok, just doing videos like that. And there's people now that do numbers doing videos on TikTok where it's such a green screen and then something behind them. So you don't have to do nothing crazy. Like some of the best videos that perform the best are videos that are really just you recording using your phone. You don't have to have a professional mic or like a lavalier mic or a wireless one. You don't need to have that. You just need to have your phone. So as long as you capitalize on a moment, then you'll be able to get views. Matty Boy 408 goes a few what if questions, and these are NBA what if questions. So I'm gonna do a short form intro for this because we're gonna post this on TikTok. So shout out to Matty Boy. What if NBA questions? First one up. If OG misses the tip in and the Spurs win the game, do the Knicks win the finals?
I still think the Knicks win the finals. They had just this juju and this magic this season that I think nothing could stop them.
Yeah, that is true, but the amount of momentum that young San Antonio team would have, the confidence, the amount of momentum shifting in their favor, if you win a game 4, even if they won by 2 points, narrowly edging that out, I believe the Spurs win that series.
Their hearts were taken out of their chest when that tip went in. Oh,
Jesus
goodness.
Christ.
Oh, goodness. Goodness. I'm going to stand on what I said. Their hearts were taken out of their chest when that tip went in.
Nuts.
It's the truth. And I still believe that coming back from 29 down, John, I don't know if they just scraped by 2 points. If I'm the Knicks, I still think we showed that even when they give us their best punch, we could still hang right there. And they came back and won the game, and then, of course, clutched up in Game 5. I still think the Knicks are champs.
Yeah, the fact that they won in 5 games, even if the series is 2-2 off of a missed tip, and I think the Knicks would still win.
Very often I find myself saying some egregious things
No, that was
accidentally.
nuts. I'm
I
tweeting
do
that.
feel like that
Tweeting
series,
that? You're a fucking
that series
idiot.
I'm not
reminds me
saying who,
of
bro.
Magic Rockets, where
You could say
game
that.
1, Nick Anderson misses the 3 throws. If the Magic don't blow that game 1 versus the Rockets, they got swept in that series. Things might look differently for a young team like that.
Celtics versus, if the Celtics win Game 7 against the Sixers, who wins the East?
Knicks.
Say that again?
if the Celtics win Game 7 against Philly, who wins the
Knicks.
East?
The Knicks.
It's still the Knicks.
If Boston is going to blow a 3-1 lead to Philadelphia, no disrespect, what makes you think that they're going to beat the New York Knicks?
I have not a clue.
The next question is, if the Hornets make the playoffs, but they lose 4-1 to the Pistons, do they still trade LaMelo Ball?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think the play-in had anything to do with it.
Yeah,
I think it did.
a different front office than what drafted him.
I think it did matter. The fact that you had this amazing second half turnaround and it still led to not making the playoffs, I still think a first round exit means more because you had 2 runs back to back making the play in. You were unable to make the playoffs. This was your opportunity to do it again. You fell short. I don't think that it would have changed anything.
A lot of the LaMelo trade to me was just process based as well as the results being decent but not great. And I feel the front office just decided long term that he didn't align with what they want their team to look like.
Next question is, if the Timberwolves make the conference finals, but they lose 4-2 to the Thunder, do they still trade Randall and do they trade for LaMelo?
If the Timberwolves advance,
If they make the conference finals and lose.
I think so. That's 3 straight years going to the conference finals, no finals appearance, depending how they lose in the conference finals too, because they've had their last series haven't been as competitive. It sounded like they're going to 7 games back and forth. So I still think Julius gets traded and LaMelo.
No matter
gets traded
what,
for.
a move would have been made.
And the last question is, if J-Dub plays Game 7, do the Thunder win the game and advance to the finals?
No.
It's
What
a
version of JW again?
It's a fair
Yeah.
thought because game 1, J-Dub killed. He was elite in that game. He was the best player for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I could definitely understand Thunder fans convincing themselves that game 7 would have been theirs because you had an elite Shea game and the game still came down to the wire. It's just unfortunate you got 0 production from anybody else not named SJ, or I guess I'll respect him, Cason Wallace.
Yeah, I mean, if you're guaranteeing me J-Dub is looking like he did, then sure. But if we're going based off of entering that game, he was 50-50. It's Game 7 WCF.
Fair.
J-Dub's doing everything. So if he can't play, he's messed up bad, which makes me think that he wouldn't be that impactful.
Eddie Kuros goes, if everyone was fully healthy this postseason, who wins the championship?
The Knicks.
It was the best playoff run
You can-
we've seen
yeah.
since the 2017 Warriors. I'm just going to toot their horn and continue to praise that. I mean, the Knicks found something after Game 3 against the Hawks. I don't think it really, to me, I wouldn't really
They
consider
lost
it.
3 games.
It's only
Yeah.
dependent on, OKC fully
That's the
healthy.
only other
Is,
team.
J-Dub, AJ Mitchell.
Just because they match up differently with the Knicks than the
They do.
Spurs do.
Luka.
You're right, Luka was not healthy. That is true.
And we gave a good series to the Thunder.
I feel like if
Respectable sweep.
the Spurs and Thunder are both healthy,
You guys are the kings of
Spurs
that.
probably still win that conference final series. And
It's
if
the
it's the Thunder
closest
versus the
we've been in
Knicks, different
history.
story. But Spurs versus
Really?
the Knicks.
The Spurs went to 7 with OKC. They weren't nearly as banged up.
Hawks wasn't healthy and Harper wasn't healthy to start the series. But I
Okay.
understand what you're saying, though. It's true.
Omar goes, do you guys think it would be better for Luka and the Lakers' future to not re-sign LeBron to a lot of money and instead try to build a better overall roster
We went over that.
around Luka and Reeves? We did talk about this. I told you, I think they're screwed either way. I don't think it matters. I think it matters more for the short term if they bring back LeBron, but long term, it's better if they don't bring back LeBron.
They're the team that you talk about the Jaylen Brown package for Trey Murphy and Herb Jones. That's the type of shit they need, where they could get multiple starters, including a Herb Jones that can defend at a high level. But I don't think that's really realistic for them. They don't really have a package to give that up. And if they did, it would have been Austin Reeves. So I agree with Joel. It's hard to look at this Lakers team and envision like a real contender in the next couple of seasons, barring another star falling into their lap, which is always possible.
And then the last question from Patreon, and it goes over what we talked about recently. It's Rayman1331 goes, how close are y'all going to full-time podcasts, or will you guys never go full-time?
Shit. Over recent events, it got close. It got close, but, back to the grind and staying locked in. But I don't think it's that far. I think it's closer than it's ever been. I think that there was a time where this was what I was doing full time, to be fair. I was doing it for 2 years. I just decided that I had more time than I thought. And I've been able to allocate time to nursing as well. But Lord knows, the second we can do it full time,
Yeah.
it was fun serving the front lines.
Yeah, it's hard to put a timeline on it. I work like a regular 9 to 5 and I work from home. So for me, it's really easy to work my job and then come here after work. The only way like I end up quitting my job is like we have the ability to really podcast 5 days a week. And like there's either it's from us doing it, whether it's from a company, whatever it might be, who says you guys are working every day. Cause like if we're just recording 2 days a week, I could still have a job pretty easily. You know what I mean? So it comes down to really timing. If there's some situation where we're recording 4 or 5 days a week, you know, then that's probably the situation where I end up going full time.
I don't think it's that far off. I think probably like a year or two. You know, things gotta just align. But I think that's part of what we're trying to do now. We're trying to just shift strategy and make sure that we put content on Patreon so that turns into another stream of revenue while also giving you guys exclusive content. So that's kind of the goal right now, to build the Patreon community, because, you know, ultimately we want to have a big Patreon community to where maybe that is really most of the basis of our income, where we don't maybe have to take on sponsorships because we have that community of your guys backing and we're giving you that content as well. So that's probably like the long-term goal for that. But then, you know, just being more consistent on YouTube, coming out with more different ideas. I definitely think we need to go live more often, because I think the live streams always do well. But yeah, I don't think it's that far off. And I think that if dudes really penny pinched, it could happen like now. I'm not being honest. But like you said, you guys got a lot of time to like do other things. So it only makes sense to just make more money. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than somebody working like 2 jobs. The only difference is that your second job isn't something that you need to be at like every day.
Yeah.
My second job is not a job.
Exactly.
Podcast.
So that's what it is. So no, but yeah, shout out to you guys. I think that's what we're gonna end off the show with. There were more people that asked questions on Patreon, and our next Patreon episode will be next week. Not our next episode, but the episode after that. So the second episode of the week will post on Patreon. We're gonna do a free agency live stream Tuesday, 6 p.m. We're gonna try to be very punctual and cordial with you guys, and we're gonna be in here reacting to free agency moves as they happen. I'm assuming John's going to be here. Drew's going to be here. Dell's will be here. And we'll see if Mr. River Brown comes here as well. Are you going to
be here?
Yeah, I live here.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll be here. Unless I take a surprise trip, man. I got to go to Arizona soon.
Yeah. I'll happily go with you.
You want to see Arizona?
Yes.
How was your trip, bro?
Yeah, thanks for asking, guys.
My
like,
bad.
I really appreciate you guys waiting 3 hours to ask me how my trip was.
John, I told you to remind me to ask Drew.
He did.
Fuck. Dude, how was your trip?
It was awesome. Genuinely excellent.
Okay, what was your favorite part?
Okay. The Detroit game was a bummer because the Yankees lost. It was a better game than the White Sox and Guardians. The White Sox game, our seats were nuts.
Yeah, I saw. You were like fucking
insane.
3rd row or something.
Third row from the field behind home plate. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's tough.
So I would say the moment where we realized, wow, we're really sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I grinded last week so I could sit 3rd row and catch this game this great. So that moment was probably one, but the game overall for Detroit and Yankees, even though we lost, it was an entertaining game.
Yeah.
It was a fun game. Like the crowd around it too. Like, you know, I'm a Yankee fan, so naturally I'm involved in the game a little bit more. We ended up losing, but it was good banter between, you know, I'm just kind of just being just putting on a stupid show just because I'm excited and trying to make the most of us losing. And it was just a good time overall, hanging out with my guys too. Going to Detroit for the first time. Chicago was excellent. The city itself, downtown, was beautiful.
Could you move there?
Oh.
No.
Is there a reason why?
It gets mad fucking cold.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's cold now. Like, it was not warm when we went to Chicago. I was cold.
Chicago's beautiful. Their downtown is like New York City without the congestion.
It's true.
Nice. Everything is spacious.
busy when
it looks
I went,
really
though.
beautiful.
It was busy.
Yeah.
The vibes were elite.
You know, Jess, when she moved to New Jersey at first, she hated it because she missed Arizona so much. We went to Chicago one time and she was like, yeah, I'd live here. Like, I'd live in Chicago.
That's interesting.
So she likes Chicago a lot. And honestly, the rent out there ain't that bad.
I'll also say, I got a lot of love out there too, which really, it always brings me joy. I was in Detroit. I saw a couple fans out there. That was really cool. I'm at the Bean. We finally get there. I'm just excited just being in front of it. And this dude just comes and like, are you Drew? I was like, yeah, man. So that was cool.
Nice.
So it's always great. I understand, like, in sporting events, it's not far-fetched for me to get recognized, but just in those situations, getting out of New York, getting out of New Jersey,
Yeah.
that's always awesome. So it's always great to see the fan support.
Any
But in
beefs?
Detroit,
Sorry, I was gonna ask for food, but go ahead.
okay, both we'll get to.
Okay.
In Detroit, it's funny. Riv was like, yo, Drew's not valid in Detroit. You know, I hope he gets jumped. While I'm out there, I am cognitive of like, yo,
I've said some nasty
I'm
shit.
not that valid in Detroit right now. I'm having my guard up just in case. But the people I met out there were all elite vibes. So that was cool. Detroit itself was amazing. The field is the best field that I've been to ever. Like, it is number one nicest field I've been to. And I kind of had that idea when I was planning the trip that Comerica would be the nicest field. So it was good that it ended up coming to fruition. Rate Field was also excellent in its own right. So in terms of eats, I had deep dish. It was good.
Okay.
That's as far as I'll go.
All right. Valid.
It was good. That is it. The sauce, I think I would have liked a little bit more. It was definitely a meaty pie.
Yeah.
Sausage, pepperoni,
Oh, nice.
onion,
Nice.
pepper. It was pain.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just
It's
the,
thick.
The dough
Yeah,
is
yeah,
so
yeah.
fucking thick that they
You
kind
like
of.
a nice crunch?
I love a crunch.
Yeah, for sure.
Love
For
a
sure.
crunch. I'm trying to think. So Culver's is out there.
Yeah.
It's just like I'd like to think of it like essentially Five Guys,
Okay.
but Michigan.
Okay. Is it as good as Five Guys?
It was elite.
Okay.
It was
They
genuinely
do like
great.
burgers and chicken sandwiches and stuff like
Yes, it was so good.
Burger you got?
Yes, it was amazing. I'm trying to think what else I got.
that. Chicago dog.
I didn't get one.
I
I
like a
didn't get one.
Chicago dog.
I probably regret not.
It's a little bit of a weird mix.
I like dressing up a hot dog all types of ways. You know what I mean?
Chicago dog is. a
I
little
do
bit
regret
weird.
not getting it. I did get Starbucks out there. It's like the world Starbucks, so like that was a cool thing. Their coffee, Bigsby coffee. It's the best coffee I ever had.
Really?
Best coffee I ever had. I got a caramel coffee, iced coffee,
Bet you did.
but their cold foam.
Bet you did.
You better stop it because I know. Don't make me. Don't make me.
Yeah.
I got
It
a
was better
caramel
than
iced
Dutch
coffee.
Bros.
It's not even a conversation. The cold foam is like drinking ice cream.
Nice.
It was so good. It's so fluffy. That was great. Nothing too exotic though, because I was only there for 2 days.
Yeah. You drove?
I did.
How long was the drive?
Did you buy the
12 hours.
self-driving?
I did.
Nice.
Bro, that thing drove the entire way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's easy.
No, that's valid though. I thought you took a flight out there.
Bro, and that is why, thinking about it, it's so possible. The only way it's not possible is because of the podcast. To catch a game, to go take a trip, quick trip, and go. The only reason it's not possible to do more consistently is because of the pod.
How long is it?
It was a
12
12-hour
hours?
drive. But I say that to say,
You're doing that every week?
no, but like to different locations.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
to go to St. Louis, to
Okay.
go to Cincinnati, to go to Milwaukee, to like these are trips that I could do. I've driven to Florida
Yeah.
and hit traffic on the way to Florida. I'm used to driving long places. It's just I don't want to miss the pod.
Yeah.
So that's where it kind of gets tough. So I had to miss last week's. It was a big episode. Giannis gets traded. I was like, this kind of sucks. I didn't say anything, but let's go Miami.
No, but
Let's
yeah,
go
I'm going to Arizona probably like July or early August. Cause I mean I owe Jess a trip there because we haven't had that trip in like the last year. Summer League this year is dead for me. I ain't going out there. I ain't trying to take 2 big trips like that. So I'm probably gonna go to Arizona and stay there for like close to like 3 weeks.
Oh wow.
And then that's probably it. That's probably my summer, unless I go visit my dad in El Salvador. But that'll be like late August, early September, if
Football
that.
season.
Exactly. It'd be because that's the only time period that the tickets are actually pretty affordable. Well, I could fucking buy it if I wanted to, but I ain't trying to spend like $800 on a flight, bro. I'm gonna be honest. And my dad also, I don't know where he's gonna let me stay. You know, that's another thing. Cause my dad has an Airbnb unit and it's 2 units. The first one is the main house. He lives there. The second one is just a place that has 4 units. So it's 4 different bedrooms. He rents those out and it's a bed and breakfast. He also has a kitchen, people that cook. He has a whole like a food menu. And last time I stayed there, I definitely told him like, yo, Dad, let me get one of them rooms for the free ski. Let me just be in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be in the same crib as you where you're across from me and Jess and also my bedroom doesn't have a desk, and like I can't really film my content. So my dad kind of told me that I had to pay for that shit, and I'm just like, bruh, honestly, like you dampened my interest in going if you're not just gonna give me a room for free that's gonna make my life easier to make content.
He's crazy for that.
So I basically was like, yo, like if you basically welcome me in a way where you're gonna make it the easiest transition possible for me to go make content, then I could be there more often. But if you're trying to have me stay in your crib where you're not set up for me to be there and do my job remote and stuff, then to me it's more of a hassle.
Mhm.
Like so I'm gonna have a talk with him.
What if
soon.
you copped a desk for his house?
That could happen too, but I don't know, bro. Like I ain't
Handle that, bro.
I ain't trying to do
Handle
it.
that, bro.
So I
I feel
was
like it could be a happy medium.
yeah, probably. Like if he doesn't want to, but like I said, I just didn't see a problem with it because if he doesn't have the unit rented out for that space or for that time period, like I don't
makes
think
sense.
it's a big problem for me to just like be in there if he
Yeah.
doesn't have it rented out.
Yeah.
Like if it's fully booked and shit, I understand. But if you have like a 3-4 day opening, I could definitely stay there until I gotta go.
Mhm.
You gonna pay your workers anyway. They gonna clean it regardless. So it doesn't matter if I'm there or I'm not.
Yeah.
So nah, that's why I've kind of been holding off on it, because if I just pay for the flight and then my stay's covered, I'm
That's an
valid.
easy
I can
trip.
go.
Yeah.
But if I gotta worry about like staying and stuff, that's another expense that I really ain't trying to do. And shout out to whoever's at this podcast right now listening this far ahead, because I'm gonna break some news and you guys already know about it. John, I think this is gonna be your first time hearing about it, but if you will be at Fanatics Fest, we will be there too. And we got access to Fanatics Fest. We have 5 passes. So you know what that means. It's the big 5.
Type shit.
It's me, Riv, Drew, John Tortorelli, if he could make it. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's the 4 days.
Monday.
We're
I thought
gonna-
it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, it is? My bad. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we will try to be there for all 4 days. Some of us won't be able to, but we will have passes. So hoping to get a lot of great content there and hoping to meet a lot of you guys. So if you guys are going to be at Fanatics Fest, let us know and we could find a place to maybe meet up with you guys and talk to you guys and chop it up.
Excited
So
for that.
just let us know. And, you know, you're a real fan if you made it this far, because we haven't told nobody we're going yet, but we're going to Fanatics Fest. We will be there and we will have access. Hopefully I get to meet Jalen Brunson. You got to pay $1,000 to take a picture with him.
That's nuts.
The regular
We're gonna
fans.
get some credentialed shit.
Yes. So I'm hoping we have the access to
Nice.
go and just
man.
take
It's
a
Super
flick
Bowl
with
all over
Brunson.
again.
Yeah, stuff.
And I need to take that pic with Brunson.
Let them know you doubt
You gonna
him.
wear some Jets?
I'm
gear?
sorry, unnecessary.
Now I'm gonna show him the video from 2022.
Type, you should.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, yo, bro.
What about the video from
And I was
2020?
gonna say, I'm gonna show in the background and be like, he's lying.
You're-
I'm gonna show him. I'm gonna be like, yo, this would, bro. The only one that believes you. I wish you watched Pick a Side. I was like, yo, when
The
everybody,
only one is nice.
yo, when everybody said you wasn't gonna pan out, Stephen A. Smith talking all this shit, I was there saying, yo, you gonna be the leader of our team and give us a fucking chip.
Him saying the only one, like, that's
That's
nuts.
gross.
At that time,
For you to fall off, then to say the only one,
Yeah,
that's where.
that-
That's
I
why.
fell off
That's
for-
why.
Just
that-
have some respect.
I fell
That's
off for
that's
for-
all I'm
Have some
saying.
respect for yourself.
That's all I'm saying.
Like,
fell
just
off for
be
a
low
week.
key. Just be like, I've always loved Jalen Brunson.
I fell off for a week. That's it.
It's a very important week.
That's it.
you kind of were up and down this season.
I fell
Stop
off.
it.
I fell off for a week.
Stop it.
I mean,
Stop it.
You've said a lot of things here about
John.
Jalen Brunson this year.
John, you edit this podcast more than anybody.
You heard what I said. I'm not gonna repeat it.
What'd
Your
you
team
say?
has won a championship. Doesn't matter what I
Oh
think.
no, of course.
No, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
This
that's-
isn't a
that's-
situation where if he meets Jalen Brunson, do we talk shit about him in front of
Exactly.
Jalen Brunson's face? And I think we have a right
Like,
to.
do you know when he went up to Kyron Williams, was like, "Yo, bro, Dap, you're cool, bro," and then I was like, "No, don't do that."
Well, that doesn't compare though.
It is levels
That's
because
two
what he did
different
was
things.
worse to Jalen Brunson.
Kyron Williams,
Bro,
like 10
Kyron
tiers.
Williams, I had to show love.
It
Yo,
was
shout
fake
out.
I
love.
said, yo,
No, I was a big fan of him at Notre Dame.
It was fake love.
I was a big fan. I said he projects as a solid third down running back who could block.
Nah, I'm
and
not gonna
catch.
lie. Getting off the line, that was really. I said, "Yo, Jan, Kyron, don't dap him."
He was though. It's funny, bro. It just makes you so aware of athletes really don't be on their phones like that. They do, but they probably get other things that they look at. So that's why, like, when we do music videos, sometimes we get athletes that comment on it because it's a different algorithm. So most of these dudes, like Kyron Williams, a pick a side video of us having a debate about him probably isn't popping up on his feed. So they are really unaware of
You shit talking him.
all the shit talking.
Saying he's
So
inefficient.
like I could go up. Same thing with me. Like there could be one of you watching right now that will comment some hate and shit, and then you'll meet me in person, and then you'll be like, "Yo, I fuck with you, bro." Like I wouldn't know. I can't look at your comments. I don't know who you are. But like that's the thing with these athletes is like my cousin just told me that yet today I was on the phone with him, and he said that somebody that's in his student council, her cousin is Jalen Hurts' wife. And he was like, yo, I'm trying to like, try to finagle it. And I was like, don't even try, bro. I've shitted on him way too much for you to try to do that. I was like, I've hated on him way too much for you to try to suck up and try to get him on a pod. And I was like, plus, he don't do media interviews anyway. But it's the thing, like, if maybe Hurts has seen my shit, maybe not. But there's a high chance he hasn't. And I could dead go up to Jalen Hurts and be like, yo, I'll fuck with you, bro. You my guy.
That's disgusting.
And Jalen Hurts would be like, yo, respect. He wouldn't fucking know.
You would have no clue.
He would not
It's
know.
the power of the internet.
Bo Nix definitely knows that I love him.
I hope so. He doesn't have a lot out there.
What?
What?
He has an entire state on his
Oh,
side.
my bad. My bad. You're right.
Name a single person who's on Geno Smith's side.
No one these days.
Exactly.
No one these days.
That's why
Innocent until proven guilty.
there's
first of
only
all.
two players.
Fair enough.
Jesus
Fair enough. I
Christ.
allow the court of law to deal with their proceedings.
There's only two players right now that meeting them would be rewarding and fulfilling without any part of me thinking that my integrity is being challenged. That's Jordan Love and Mahomes. If I meet any of those two,
Ant?
I'm
Luka?
valid. And not so much Luka. Not so much
Luke,
Luka.
because you fell off.
Because I shitted on Luka this year. So like
Deserved.
people I've said nothing
What do you
negative
mean?
about
He led the league in points.
Who cares?
Mahomes
Like
and
in the league
Jordan
in
Love.
yards.
Idiot, bro.
So
I mean,
hopefully
What?
there might be a chance that Love's at Fanatics Fest. If Jordan Love is at Fanatics Fest,
you're doing anything?
oh definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. You guys know that Micah Parsons commented on Blue 42's post, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys heard about that?
I saw that.
Yeah.
He
Commented
commented
like
quick
immediately.
too, yeah. Because I saw their post and it was posted like an hour ago, and he commented.
Yeah, man.
It's cool for them.
Shout out.
Shout out
I
to
really
Blue
hope I
42.
meet Jordan Love. Micah's definitely going to be at Fanatics Fest. Definitely.
I'm interested to see what the vibe is there.
I'll tell him I switched fandoms because of you.
Are you going? What are we
My
doing? Are we
God.
going every day?
I'm trying to aim for it, but knowing me, I probably won't.
Yeah.
Because like Fanatics is going to have us do videos. So if we do all the videos in one day, probably not going, the rest of the days. But it just depends, like, who's there, because
Do we know? Like, is there any schedule? Or...
they will have a schedule for sure. But, Brunson is going to be there one day. He's not going to be there all four.
But he's
So,
also. It's just gonna be so fucking crazy around him.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
even know if it's.
Yeah.
That was.
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Bothered me. I don't know which was worse, that or John's canoodle. Full circle. I'm sorry.
He's gonna tweak out on you.
John couldn't get his point across.
Yo, can you pass my phone, Johnny? I appreciate you putting it on the charger, bro. After
Oh,
you
man.
put it down. Thanks, bro.
But that's going to do it for this episode of Pick a Side Podcast, episode 588. If you guys are at Fanatics Fest, let us know. We will be there. You guys can follow us on Twitter, Pick a Side Pod, Instagram and TikTok, Pick a Side Podcast. And if you made it this far, you might as well drop a like. Get us to 500 likes this episode. That is the goal. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.